Boom. We're live. We're good. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 1 of Ham Radio Live. This is our episode for September 24th, 2021. For those who are new here, which I imagine many of you are, we got to explain to you what this show is going to be. So, unlike Ham Radio Podcast, this is going to be streamed live each and every Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Not only that, but you're going to have the ability to tap in, aka call in. You could chat with us, debate with us even, bring up topics that maybe we haven't covered yet, or talk about what games you want to. That's what this show is all about. We don't really have a third seat because the third seat is yourself, and we want to embrace that. Now, of course, every show will be live here on youtube.com/MrMattyPlays, but if you do miss that, it's okay. I understand. I accept you. We still have our show being archived here on the YouTube channel every Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And on top of that, we'll be on all the podcast platforms like Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts. But enough of the housekeeping. You probably already know how this goes because I've talked about it so much. I want to introduce my new co-host, Kopi. Take it away.
Hey guys, so my name's Kopi. Some of you might know me. I also go by Paul, and I'm a student journalist, and I write a lot about video games. I love video games, always have. I've been friends with Matt for a while now, but over the past 2 years, we've been talking more and more. And yeah, now we're doing Ham Radio Live. This has been in development for quite a while now, a few months, so pretty excited to get it kicked off.
Yeah, it went from me buying you a Switch to here we are doing a show.
Yeah, it was your Christmas giveaway on your Patreon. I remember when that happened.
I know, right?
You didn't even announce it. It just kind of like...
It's kind of crazy to think about.
Wow.
But anyway, really excited to do this with you. You know, I was saying before in the video promoting this that I was of the mindset that, you know, when it comes to a live show, you need someone, not that like obviously previous hosts weren't, but like you need someone that you talk with like pretty frequently because with the live nature of our show, it's going to get wild at times. We already kind of expect that and know that. And so we want to just fully embrace that. And I think the best way to do it is getting one of your closest friends in there. So as always, you know, I don't want to overdo promotion here early on, but any information you need about us will be linked in the description down below. We're getting questions in like from Santiago. Are we putting it live on Spotify? Yeah, we will be on Spotify. We'll be on Google Play, Apple Podcasts, all of those platforms. So just know we got you covered. You know, the live part is just to add a fun dynamic to what is a pretty saturated space. And to those of you here who are early adopters, thank you, because right now I'm sure the numbers are going to be lower, and hopefully as time goes on, we can build that up where people will kind of know what Ham Radio Live is going to be. So with that, let's get it started. Let's talk about what we're playing. That's how our structure is going to go. What we're playing, we're going to take a call-in afterwards. We're going to get into the news. We're going to take some call-ins. It's going to be all about you. So, Paul, what have you been playing, man?
So I've been grinding out Sekiro. Last year is when I started playing FromSoft games. I had never played one before. Actually, I played Dark Souls 1 because it was free on Xbox, like Xbox Gold, a while ago. And I was like, this shit sucks. I'm horrible at it. But I was like way younger. So now, last year I started with Dark Souls 3. Yeah, I think I started Dark Souls 3.
I do remember that, yeah.
Yeah, and then I went into Dark Souls 1, and I started Bloodborne, but didn't finish it because I want 60 frames. And now I'm playing through Sekiro. I'm almost done with it. Besides that, my usual romp is Genshin Impact, and yeah,
none of that here. None of that here. I want to love that game so much, man. I want to love it so much. We talk about it all the time. Like when you hop on, you stream it. I'm like, I like what I see here, but like when I pick it up, I'm like, fuck this game.
You're always looking for that home-based game. Genshin is like my home-based game. Okay, I think it's the best gacha game on the market. Okay. All right, with how much content they add, there's problems with it, but just compared to all the other gacha games out there, it's like a free open world game with tons of content. But besides Genshin, I was playing the Halo Infinite Insider thing like literally right before the show, and that, oh my god, it's so fun.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that more later.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we got a lot of Xbox related stuff to have to get into rather. So I'm excited about that. So you've been playing Sekiro. I am famous, I think, at this point for, I don't want to say my dislike of Sekiro because I don't hate it. Just my lack of enjoyment. Like I thought I was very.
You're a quitter.
No, I'm not, because I beat Genichiro, and I was like, all right, I think I've seen it through. I think I've had enough. Like this wasn't that fun. And
Guys, this happened with Dark Souls 3, by the way. He did the same thing. Whole
wait,
playthrough.
what? That's
You
slander.
quit Dark Souls 3 too. You
I
quit it.
did quit Dark Souls 3.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah,
own
you
Dark
quit it.
Souls 3, but it wasn't
Yeah.
like they beat me down. Like Dark Souls 3, I was just not into. In Sekiro, I did quit. There was a point I quit because I thought it was kind of boring, but then I got to Never insisted. One of our good friends, Never, was just like, Genichiro. You got to get to Genichiro. Once you get to Genichiro, once you beat him, I'm telling you, you'll like it. So I'm open mind. Open mind, Maddie grabs the controller. I think it took me upwards of 20 tries. I beat Genichiro, and I was like, yeah, that felt pretty good, but I still don't feel any different about the game. So how far
Yeah.
are you right now?
I beat the Corrupted Monk, which is pretty far into the game.
Okay.
I'm following like a guide because you know how
Oh, but
from
I'm the quitter. Hold on.
no. You know how FromSoft games are like no markers, no any of that. And I got a lot of games on my plate. Like I'm trying to get through stuff. So
Okay.
I have like a guide on the side
No.
telling dude, there's nothing wrong with it. Listen, people can play games however they want. I got a guide. I'm not cheesing the game just to know where to go because
Okay, so all right, so I think I'll give you some leeway here, right? Like it's your point A to point B, but once you get to point B, it's your game. You don't follow the guide.
Yeah, exactly. It just shows me where to go. I don't look at a guide for like items and stuff like that. Just okay, where do I go next? Because after Genichiro, I had no clue. Like you have to go into the Sunken Valley, and then you have to go back to where you spawned. Like I don't know, you were supposed to go back to where you started the game. So yeah, I beat the Corrupted Monk, and it's very different from other FromSoft games. So I can understand like if it doesn't fit your vibe, but I just think you're a FromSoft quitter. I don't know what else to say. Dark Souls 3.
I disagree. I don't think I quit. I think that's the thing. I see them through. I have a patient hand with them. But I'm not brainwashed like I think a lot of FromSoft fans are. I'm of the mindset that some people have, like Dark Souls 2, some people are so convinced it's a good game.
I haven't touched it.
Like Never. Never was very convinced Dark Souls, one of our good friends, very convinced that Dark Souls 2 was a good game, but it wasn't. It was because the others were so good that it looked bad. I'm like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's like gonna be the last one I play. I wanted to play it before what the new one coming out. I almost said Godfall. Like, no, fuck no.
Elden Ring.
Yes, Elden Ring.
Okay,
I want to play it before Elden Ring, so I can have a really bad experience before I jump into something that's supposed to be amazing. But no, I've never touched it.
That's fair. I have been playing Tales of Arise, and I gotta say, this one
right here.
Yeah, there you go, dude. I'm telling you,
today.
it's legitimately fantastic. It's creeping into Game of the Year status for me because like right now, Hitman 3 is my Game of the Year, but with Tales of Arise, I love the main game, right? Like the main story, the characters, the combat. I thought like they all evolved wonderfully. But then normally once I'm done reviewing a game, I might tap back in like once or twice. But this game I've kept coming back to because the end game content is so crazy. Were you in the call when I streamed the big dragon boss?
I haven't been watching the streams because I don't want to be spoiled.
That's
anything.
true. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Put it this way: there's this like insane boss that is main game level, and it's just like out in the end game. It's just a thing that you can do if you want. And I'm like, how was that optional? And to me, that wins points for me. It's like, wow, that's insanely impressive that you had the balls to like just put that to the side, not put it in players' faces. They really invested in this game, but I've just been enjoying it so much. The combat's a good time. I think the characters are excellent. Dohalim, top tier. One of the best characters of the year, in my opinion. But
is that the one with the voice actor? If it's like English dub, that he just sounds really bad.
I think the whole English cast sounds bad.
Well, is it the Makoto Naegi character?
Oh no, that's Law. That's Law.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Law's that's a bad English casting. Not because the voice actor is bad, but whoever signed him on was like, "Hey, you're famous," and like just checked him off. But when it comes to Dohalim, he's like this Egyptian leader, and he's one of the lords, and he's so fucking cool. Such a good character. So there's a lot to love about Tales of Arise, but I think what I've loved more about it is its real staying power. That's something that's kind of resonated with me this year. If you've noticed, between that and Hitman 3, like a game that sticks around after the credits roll, not just because it's sticking around, because it has something worthwhile to offer to me. that scores well with me. That makes me. I think time investment's one thing, but like the fact that my time's being rewarded with really good, meaningful content is always nice to see. So I've just been going back to that. Outside of that, in between, I've been working on a shit ton of video projects. So I've been bouncing into games like Fallout New Vegas and 76 and SWOTOR, and just working on content for all of those for the Patreon, which will then eventually go live to the public. But that's really what we're playing. I think it's time for a tap-in. I think it's time to get someone in here.
We should bring in the first person who joined, which was Sean Mason.
All right.
I'm going to
Drag
bring
him
him
in.
Hey, Sean.
Hello, Sean. Let's switch overlays here. Give me one sec. There we go. Oh.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Hold on. Let me switch overlays again.
Oh, wow.
This is bad. This is what we didn't want.
Where's the transitions?
Hold on. He's back in the call-in waiting room. Can you try again?
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
Get ready to switch the transitions.
Of course.
Yo, Sean, times 2.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
There we go.
Yeah, we can hear you. What's
there
up?
we go. What's going on, Sean? Oh, hold on.
A little bit of.
Yeah, there's
He's in the call.
Yeah, he's here. He's here. We're gonna wait him out. Hold on.
Oh, I heard an exhale there.
Yeah. So I wonder if he's like sprinting around his house for like service somewhere. Hey, in the meantime, we can just answer this quick super chat we got from Red Bandit. When will we see new information about Fable and Starfield? I'm gonna toss out there spring 2022 for Starfield. I think that they're gonna reveal that game separately from E3. I'm very gung-ho on that idea. I don't think they're gonna share the E3 stage for that game, given Todd Howard's ways.
We won't see stuff for Fable for probably a while because we only got a CG trailer, right?
Yeah, that's been in development for so long. I feel like E3 next year has got to be where Fable is.
How does my audio? You guys hear me?
Yep, there you go. We can hear you now.
You're good.
Does it sound fun?
Yep, you sound good.
Yeah, you sound good.
All right. So, I just want to say congratulations. I just want to say congratulations on the big Ham Radio Live.
Thank you. Congrats! You're the first call in, by the way. Just so you know.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm honored. I am honored. I love it. So, I did write in a question, but I'm going to ask you the question. Same thing here. It's a little story first. Little story time with Sean Mason.
Yes,
as
my
always.
favorite.
Okay, cool.
Yes. All right.
Let's go.
All right. So, the other day we were in. Sorry. Hang on. Sorry. 1 second.
I know what his question because I put it in the doc.
But is he changing his question? Is the real curveball here?
Maybe we'll see. It's an interesting question. I don't really know if I have a.
Well, what's always good about Sean's questions is he has this story with like his
present the story.
Well, it's more so because he has a class of like pure maniacs in his school. So,
oh yeah, because the story of
yeah. He's building up the anticipation though for the audience. That's what's good, right?
Yeah.
Beyond that though.
All right.
Okay. Well, okay. There we go. I think we got him.
Is it time?
Sean, you're killing me here, man. Oh my god. Just Dom shows.
Really
Shout out. Thank you.
He really wants to, build that.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Sorry, this is terrible. I'm so sorry.
No worries.
So I run a video game club at my school for 6th, 7th, and 8th graders.
Sure.
And the other day was our second big meeting, and I brought in TVs. Everyone's bringing their Switches in and stuff like that, and they're having this Super Smash Brothers tournament. And there was this one 8th grader who was talking so much trash, and he was being such a jerk. He was making kids cry.
Oh.
Like, there was a 6th grader who was legitimately bawling his eyes out. And finally the kid's like, I'm like, dude, you gotta calm down to that. That's what I said to the 8th grade. I'm like, you have to calm down. We have to be good sports here. You don't want to, make kids cry or anything.
Sure.
So finally he goes, well, I need better competition. I go, well, I don't know what to tell you, man. He goes, well, why don't you play me? I go, are you sure you want to play me? He goes, yep. So we start playing. We plug in. I pull out my GameCube controller. Of course, they're all playing with Pro controls. They don't even know what a GameCube controller is.
Oh, no.
And so I pull out my GameCube controller, I plug it in, we start playing, and I beat him 3 lives to nothing. I didn't even lose a life.
No stocked him. Okay.
No
Wow.
stock. And he starts freaking out. Like, he can't handle it. He's like, what do you, I wasn't, no, you cheated. You must have cheated. What's going on? You're such a cheater. And he ran out of the room.
Oh no.
Stormed out. So I thought it was
ego.
all the other kids were like cheering. I thought it was funny, but like, I mean, he did challenge me. I mean,
yeah, you gotta assert your dominance, right? You're leading this.
He's
pack.
a bully.
So my question for you guys is basically this: when is a time in your life that you thought you were really good at something, only to find out there were so many people better than you?
I found out someone was better than me at something. Oh man, I think as I the thing I can think of most recently is as I work on our game, right, Kopi? Like I find myself looking at what Omar or Henry are doing, like art and programming wise, and it's just one of those moments where you just shake your head and go, I could never fucking do this if I like
this is above me.
Yeah, it's literally like at one point, this doesn't really ruin anything for our game, but just I was like drawing out a map regionally of where things were, and I've written like pages of dialogue, like we've done lore dives, timelines, we've done so much narratively, but I look at that map I did and I was like, my brain hurt more from that than all of those combined. Like it was just, there's something about an artist's brain that will forever be above me. And it's like, I remember when I was in like 6th grade, I used to draw a lot. Like I have drawings of like Luigi and Goku because I was just weird. And I would draw all the time. But like, as I left that behind, I feel like there's a time that comes around that age where your brain just seals part of it off. And that artist part of me, gone for good.
For me, I actually was going to have trouble answering this question, but then yesterday, the Nintendo Direct happened, and I'm a student journalist at my university, so I take any opportunity I can get to like write. And I work with Tech Raptor. You guys might have heard this site before. It's like a gaming news site, and I had to cover the Direct. So one of the editors there is a really nice guy. I work with him a lot he does the news, like news editorial. Mm-hmm. So he asked if anybody could cover it. And at first I was kind of weary. I was like, I don't know. I had never really done live coverage before.
Right.
But I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, if I scare myself out of it, then I'm not going to gain the experience. Mm-hmm. So I kind of just assumed I would be okay. And we went in, and as soon as the show started, we had a shared doc. And man, I was having so much trouble writing all those tiny little details down and going back. And if I missed something, I had to go back. It was such a mess. So I guess for me, my answer would be writing. You know, I like take pride in my writing and my ability to write. But sometimes you'll come across someone who just has so much more experience. But I think that's with anything you do. And as long as you know there's always going to be room to grow, then you'll be all right.
Interesting. Yeah, I can see how that'd be a pain in the ass, right? Like
it was so horrible.
I was gonna say it sounds annoying.
I didn't get to enjoy the Direct. That was like the main thing. Like when they were showing off like Bayonetta and Project Triangle, I was like looking at like Chocobo racing. You know, I had to go back and which looks cool, but I had to write details down for that.
You probably felt like the pressure to rush out the content, right?
I do not write well under pressure, like at all. Right. So, yeah, it wasn't fun, but that's one thing I thought I would be better at that I didn't do well.
Well, now you know, right? That's the thing. Now you know.
Yeah. And there's always like room to get better doing that, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. Like I think more so like it's more so like the fear of not being able to do it is what really makes me not be able to do it.
Of course.
Good question, Sean. I like it.
We appreciate that. It's a great question.
I just want to say thanks. Thank you so much.
Of course.
No,
it's our pleasure. It was great. It was great meeting you back at the Last Stand meetup.
Oh, it was great meeting you. You were so there? Pumped.
Nice.
Yes, I was. I was pumped.
He was sitting like, dude, I literally, when I walked in, I didn't get to tell you this, I don't think, but when I walked in, like the front row was like you, Crazy, or one of my good friends, Jimmy Champagne. And I was like, I recognized you immediately because like I remember I was talking to you guys right after the show and you were like, oh, I'm Sean Mason, by the way. I was like, I know. Like I said, I know. I recognized you immediately. It was kind of wild.
So I just want to say that next time I call, next week or whenever I do call in again, it will not be as sloppy. I promise.
Oh, dude, you're fine.
Dude,
we actually, I'm learning now through the chat. I guess right now I can't go in and fix this right now, but I guess we have like 2 streams up on the channel. Some people were like, "Oh, I was waiting your other stream. I don't know what happened. It didn't start."
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I think it's because right when we hit go live, it said something with the NVIDIA graphics card was wrong. So I don't fucking know. So I like, it's just a technical issue on our end too. So don't worry about it. We've screwed up on our end, but we have over 300 plus people here, which is excellent. We had like 50 to start, so we're really climbing up. So thank you for supporting us early, Sean. We appreciate you.
No problem. Have a good one, guys.
All right, take care,
Yeah,
Sean.
you too.
All right.
Let's go. That was a great first tap, and I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's try. You want to do another one? Like, let's get like 2.
Yeah, we got a lot of people in chat.
Yeah, I was
Who
gonna say
next?
once I saw a lot more. I think Golden Goose was second in.
Golden Goose. All right, Golden Goose, we're moving you in. Let's see. What's
right.
up, Golden Goose? Oh wait, the on profile picture. I like this. I like this already.
Uh-oh.
I
Oh,
smell
no.
a waifu. Hey,
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's going on, Golden
What's
Goose?
Not much. How are you gentlemen doing?
Doing well. Good to see you
yeah.
again, or hear from you again, rather.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to talk to you guys, and it's nice to finally get to put a voice to Kopi's waifus. Question mark?
I told you, Matt. I'm like, there's gonna be waifu talk.
Oh, absolutely. We survived a war.
Yeah, I'm a veteran.
Oh, for sure.
I got the purple heart.
Oh.
Anyway, what's on your mind, Golden Goose?
Yeah.
So, I kind of wanted to talk to you guys about something that kind of hit me this last weekend. So, I was, for the second time this year, I had a game that actually had a real emotional reaction out of me. And so I wanted to talk to you guys about games that maybe got like a big reaction, just to give you a little insight as to what I'm talking about. So I played through all 3 Mass Effects in a row this year, which was a wholly emotional experience because I've never done that. I've only played them as they released.
Okay.
And then the second one, I actually played the new Life is Strange with my girlfriend this weekend, and we just finished it. And again, just got like, from both of us, got really different mixed emotional reactions to the point where like you could see the emotions on our faces. It wasn't just like oh, hey, that was cool or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to ask you guys, like, hey, what was a game that got that kind of reaction out of you, whether it's recent, whether it's been in the past, but just kind of get your guys' thoughts on it.
Sure. Paul, you got one in mind?
Oh yeah, 100%, dude. Okay, I'm glad you asked this question because now I can spread the word on how fucking amazing Nier Automata is. Okay, there's a track that plays when you beat the game when the credits roll. It's called Way of the World, and like I remember I was explaining the lore of this game to my mom, and I just started crying. Like it is so good. But Nier Automata is like Yoko Taro. That guy's he's a philosophical genius, and yeah, for me it's a Nier, and I think it's because so many of the themes and like the discussions were things that like I thought about as I was growing up and like learning more about the world, and you start asking more questions and stuff. And what I like about Nier is it gives you like this sort of like answer. It's like not everything needs to be answered. Not all questions have to have answers, and it really helped me sort of like deal with a lot of existentialism. My girlfriend was kind of like struggling with that, so I literally just bought her a copy of Nier. I'm like, play this.
Wow, that's a great way to solve relationship issues. I love that.
So yeah, Nier Automata, I like, it's the only game or one of the only games where I've cried. I just cry, like it's just so good. I love it so much. So yeah, Nier is that game for me.
Okay.
Yeah, crying is a tough one to ever think of. Emotional though, it depends, because like for me, emotional is like it's hanging with me. It almost looms over me like a storm. And I've talked about this extensively even on Ham Radio podcast, but I need to always return to it because it's very rare this happens. And that would be a game like Knights of the Old Republic, or not Knights of the Republic. You can see where my head's at. Persona 5 Royal. Persona 5 Royal.
Okay.
I with Persona 5 Royal, there's a level of like there's an amount of how much a game can wow you, but Persona 5 Royal was moving on a whole other echelon. Like it managed to make me want to do more as a creative individual. Like if you look at the release date of Persona 5 Royal and then you look at everything I've done since, like you'll notice there's like a complete upswing in everything I started to do. And it's not because like something thematically in Persona was like, you need to do more, but I was just so positively floored by how a group of creatives can make something this masterful on a level of like combat, flow, character building, story, big plot twists, music. I could go on. And it was so moving to the point where me, Paul, and Never kind of came together as three minds in a triangulation. We're like, let's make a game. And, now Goose, I've talked to you about this at the Last Stand meetup.
Yeah.
We're working on one now, and, we're working on a demo for it to hopefully get funding from a publisher. And it's real. And it's just like, I will always and forever champion Persona 5 Royal as the game that pushed us to that. It's one thing, like I've played a lot of amazing games in my day, right? Like I've played a ton of them. I review so many games, and because of that nature of like how much content I consume, some will glance more than others. It takes a little bit more to impress me probably than an average consumer, but I hope that to the audience translates as like, when I say something's good, I mean it. And with Persona 5 Royal, that was a game that upon completion, for probably 3 to 4 days, I was in this different space. Like I was literally displaced, and I don't know how else to describe it. I didn't cry. I didn't weep. I don't know what I felt, to be honest, because it was such a strange emotion for me. It was like I felt out of sorts. I was like, wow, there's just so much there. Where I want to go back and replay it, but I almost don't want to, because that was such a pure emotional response that I don't think I'll ever have with a game again, unless it's Persona 6 maybe. And even then, I don't think Persona 5 came at a very specific point in my life where we were in the middle of a pandemic. It was about socializing. You're hanging out with your friends, so it hit right on that level. And then it was so powerful that like it just brought me to a new creative level. And it's like, well, now I don't want to say ascended in a creative level like I'm God tier. I'm just saying like I've ascended in how much I do. And so for me, at the end of the day, it's like I don't know if something can capture me in the right moment, in the right time, quite like 5 Royal did. So for me, that would be my answer.
I was gonna say that wasn't the expected answer, but that's really awesome, man.
What was your expected answer?
Well, I mean, I expected either Dragon Age KOTOR or something, Mass Effect, like something just that happened in the story. But I like how you kind of took it into like more of like the emotion of to push you to create the game that you guys are working on in the real world, not just in that emotional experience of just the game itself.
Yeah. Certainly as like a fan, Fallout 4 comes to mind for me right away. That was just on a once again, though, I guess it ties into me creatively. It's like that allowed me to be here doing this show with you, right? Like I think if Fallout 4 didn't exist, it wouldn't have elevated my platform to then like spiderweb out to a bunch of games like Xbox, what they're doing, and other RPGs. So it's a really great question, and there's a lot of examples of how games impact us.
Yeah,
well,
I was just gonna say that Persona 5 Royal, it was like similar for me.
Mm-hmm.
I was floored by the game, but it didn't really push me to be better. But I don't know, Persona is just so amazing that the one thing it did, like Matt was saying, I was gonna mention if he didn't, like it pushed us to want to make our own game because it was like that inspiring, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, play Persona. If you haven't played Persona, please.
Right, you're going to hear that a lot on this show.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
that's
great. Great question, Golden Goose. It's been great talking to you again. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for tapping in.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, we appreciate the tapping, man. All right. We're doing pretty well here.
Yeah.
Hold on here. There we go.
Yeah,
Let's
do another tap in or move
let's
into the
do
news?
a quick super chat here. We got one from Animander Rake, who says, I like how Matty looks majestic in the artwork while Paul apparently looks like a Simpsons character. I wonder who paid the artist.
Oh, wow.
That was a split payment, though. That was a split payment. We went halvesies on that, so I didn't.
Great artist, by the way. He did a great job.
Shout out to Braden. Braden Sherrell did the art for us. He's an illustrator, and he is incredible. Like, legitimately, that is the best piece of artwork we've ever featured on our channel. And, like, I can't emphasize it enough. If you were listening on audio, just go check out the video version when it's live. If you get the chance, you don't even got to listen to the whole thing there. Just go check it out. See for yourself. Like, it is incredible. And we will be taking these illustrations, by the way, and giving them out to patrons eventually as, like, prints. Whether we do them digitally to obviously save waste or printing them out, signing them, whatever. We'll find different ways to do it, but this will be eventually like a patron tier reward. So shout out to Braden on that. He did an excellent job on it. We took, obviously, if you look, inspiration from The Outer Worlds, Fallout. We wanted to kind of get that cosmonaut 50s vibe, if you will. And so he did a phenomenal job with it. Shout out to him big time. It could even be a wallpaper. Yeah, someone mentioned in chat it could be wallpaper pack. Felix did. All right, let's do one bit of news, and then we'll keep swinging in these call-ins. We got a lot more waiting for us right now. So our first bit of news has to do with the Initiative and Crystal Dynamics teaming up, Paul. This was announced late last night, and it kind of came as a surprise to a lot of people because what happened was there was a job listing a while ago. It wasn't really a marketing statement by Xbox, but there was a job listing a while ago saying that the Initiative was a quadruple A studio, which kind of has been their calling card for a while. Turns out they're a team of about 70 people or so, but that they want to remain agile and fast as a developer. And for them to do that, they've decided to outsource some of the work, interestingly, to Square Enix's Crystal Dynamics. Now, the head of the Initiative is Daryl Gallagher, who was the former head of Crystal Dynamics. So it could be that he preferred working with people from that team. But what's happened here is it's a conversation of, okay, this game got announced multiple years ago, or the studio was announced multiple years ago. Then the game was announced last Game Awards. And the question that's sort of lingering over this for some is this a cause for concern for the Initiative's Perfect Dark? And not only that, I think the bigger conversation is, what does that say about Crystal Dynamics, who is working on Avengers? And that game's sort of dead in the water. They released the Battle for Wakanda, and that was it. So I want to pass it to you. What are your thoughts on what's going on here with the Initiative and Crystal Dynamics?
Well, when you sent me the link and I was checking it out, I saw that Daryl Gallagher thing. So, first of all, what is like a quadruple A studio? You said there's like 70 people working on this, right? At the studio.
It was
but
definitely...
they want to remain agile. It's like, to me, first of all, that just sounds like, I don't know what's going on, but to me, that's like, okay, it sounds like crunch. Like, it's a little weird. But my guess as to why they're going with Crystal Dynamics or they're bringing them in is because how recently did this guy start working at the Initiative? Do we know? Like, I'm assuming it's relatively recent because I'm assuming he just maybe feels comfortable with a lot of the people that are there. And
yes,
with Microsoft heading it, they're probably like, okay, just tell us what you need and we'll get it for you. So I'm assuming that's why, they're doing that. But I think the quadruple A, you said this earlier, and I agree. I think it's like a marketing thing. Like, it's just, I don't really, it's AAA. That's just how I see it. Until we see what they make, and maybe it'll blow us out of the water. But yeah, I'm assuming it's a comfort thing for our boy Daryl Gallagher.
Yeah, I agree entirely. That's kind of where I was at. It was interesting because I was sounding off on Twitter about this, because what happened was I had posted about this just saying, am I the only one wondering why they're doing this on a level of announcing it? For those who don't know, outsourcing work to other studios is super common, whether it be on a freelance capacity or roping in other studios. It happens a lot, but the level of making it a public announcement and taking a team like Crystal Dynamics, who is not typically a studio that you outsource, was what was strange. I think on top of that, the other one lingering question mark with this is, again, what does Crystal Dynamics do now? Because they're working on Avengers, and now they're over here on the Initiative with Perfect Dark. And also, I think a fair question to ask is, does this, now that it sounds like a co-development thing, kind of like, for those who need a weird example, think Wolfenstein Youngblood, where it was Arcane and Machine Games. Does it sort of shortchange the efforts of the Initiative? And also, I need to ask, when you're looking at the game they're making, are they outsourcing to a studio as big as Crystal Dynamics with 300 plus developers? Are they doing this because the game that they're taking on is too big for a team of their size? So are they overreaching? I find all of it just really fascinating because, again, this is not, whatever you said, like, It is totally normal to outsource, but to announce it and to do it with Crystal Dynamics, I want to not read into it too much, but I also want to say, in fairness, that this could just be hey, I was the lead of the studio, Crystal Dynamics. I now am the lead of the initiative. It's as simple as we needed more people to work, and I'm very familiar with this team, and nothing more, nothing less.
Like, not to say that we're experienced at all with game development, but like Henry and Omar working on our game, we've seen like just how cohesive they are. Like when they work together, like they're like they said, they're improving morale together. Like I imagine for this guy, that's like his main thing. It's like, okay, well, these guys are the ones I'm comfortable with. You work with these people for so long, they become friends, right? So I imagine that's where that comes from. But I don't know. Some people in the chat were saying like quadruple A means unlimited budget, which I guess I can agree with. But I mean, a lot of companies already do that, and they don't like Rockstar, or not unlimited, but Rockstar. Someone said in the chat like
that was the expectation, though, was they were just going to throw money at the initiative, like just throw cash at them.
So I guess this is what they're doing with their money. 70 people for a quadruple A game isn't really a lot. Like you said, it's really normal to outsource. They get freelancers to do stuff. So I don't know. I don't think it's something you should look into too deeply. I do think, in regards to like the Avengers, that game didn't do very well financially, right? I know it costs a lot. No, and it costs a lot of money to make, right?
Yes, it did definitely cost some money, especially for like licensing deals. You'd have to imagine that alone was
for sure.
Cost.
So I imagine like they're probably I'm not saying it's gonna be like an Anthem Dead in the Water, but I imagine they're probably planning on sort of leaving it behind. Like, okay, we fucked up, time to move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
So what else did you say they were working on?
Crystal Dynamics had also worked on Tomb Raider, and that's where I think this crossover works really well, and why I think there is some overreaction on a negative front. I got to emphasize again for those listening, like, I don't think this is bad news. I really don't. I think it's an eyebrow raiser of like, what does this mean? And we won't really know till we see more of the game. But Crystal Dynamics did, in my opinion, a really good job with Tomb Raider. I was never a Tomb Raider fan growing up, and I wouldn't say I'm a Tomb Raider fan now, but at least I'm more into Tomb Raider than I once was. And I think Shadow of the Tomb Raider was the last one to come out. Shadow of the Tomb Raider posed Lara Croft in a really interesting light that made her pretty obviously flawed, and some people took issue with that, but I thought it was a lot more humanizing approach to her that I enjoyed quite a bit. And so I think that they're pretty talented in that they were sort of out of their depth with something like the Avengers. And now coming back to the same mantra, if you will, of we're taking this old franchise and rebuilding it for a new audience in Perfect Dark. I think there's something there. Like I've played Perfect Dark Zero, for example, on the 360, but I have no connection to any characters in the game. I just liked surfing around the levels. Kind of reminded me of the old 007 games growing up, and I liked it for that. But now maybe they're going to kind of have that influence of like, how do we make these characters ones worth caring about? And that's what excites me.
Did you play all 3 Tomb Raider games?
I played and beat the first one. Funny enough, apparently the best one of the 3, Rise, I did not play. The last one I did play.
I played the first one and the second one, but I didn't play the third one. And I loved the first one, but I think the second one is like, I'd say it's almost objectively better because they improve upon like so much in that game. It's really fun.
Yeah.
I played like the first few minutes of the third one, and it didn't really grab me. So I probably didn't give it a very good chance. But
I apologize. Shadow was made by Eidos Montreal. I apologize. That was incorrect. So Crystal Dynamics only handled the first 2 Tomb Raiders.
Well, I enjoyed both of those games. Very much so.
So I reel that part of the statement in. Another interesting write-in we got in the chat was that the initiative said they want to challenge the way games are made. This comes from 9 Lives 210. I believe that means that they're building the core game and working with other studios to execute on their vision. And honestly, if that is the future of games, like this could be the start of something new we're seeing where kind of like YouTube, there was and I know it sounds like a really weird comparison, but YouTube was really slow on the uptake where content creators realized like, hey, we don't got to be cutthroat to grow our brand here. Like we just need to work together, and suddenly a high tide will raise all ships. And I'm hoping that game companies start to do this because, for example, we talk all the time about this on the channel, Obsidian Bethesda or inXile and Bethesda or all three of them combining forces. Like there's nothing more exciting than seeing your favorite people or brands or companies, whatever it be, crossing over and working together to make something cool. Because that's what we want at the heart of everything.
Yeah, it brings new ideas, new perceptions, voices, diversity, whatever it is. Just smacks it together and hopefully creates something good. I never played the Avengers. Because of like your review. I know. Yeah, you were grinding it and Call.
Yeah, I did play it.
There was a point in time where you were like, oh, this is kind of fun.
I do remember that. Yeah. That was in the really early game. It was I should say actually mid game. Mid game, you feel it getting its legs. You feel the progression curve, and then you just hit a fucking brick wall, and the story's not that great. It blows my mind that there are people out there who like high-ranking people who talk about this game like it's legitimately amazing. I'm like, we're burying our head in the sand, and I'm a fan of some pretty niche games. We got a super chat. Yeah. We got one from Cade Forever. What do you think of Sony fanboys saying Microsoft needs help from Crystal to put out one game when Naughty Dog needed over 10 studios to put out The Last of Us 2 with nearly 2,000 people working on it? I do think the Naughty Dog aspect has been a really weird argument because when I was reading up on it, a lot of those studios were like motion capture studios. It wasn't like what we're really seeing here. Not that this wasn't a thing, but it's not like what we're seeing here where it's an announced, like, we're bringing in another high-profile game developer to help us make this.
Yeah,
I don't.
From what I saw, it wasn't all like game dev studios, right?
Yeah,
like motion capture. They probably had sound studios and stuff.
Exactly.
So,
yeah,
and regardless, I think that argument is kind of stupid anyway. Like, I don't know, console wars people. We have a question about console wars later, so we'll talk about it like when we get to that question. But
yeah, and I don't think that this should be grounds if either Sony or Xbox fans are dunking on one another for their respective use of other studios. All it does is showcase a lack of game development knowledge. And not that I'm sitting here like a genius, but at the minimum, the response to this should have been like neutral. It should have not been, this is bad news or this is good news. It should have been neutral if you know anything about games, because the reality is that what's happening is odd, that they have signed a studio like Crystal Dynamics. There is a connection there, and it could just be that. But if we look a little bit deeper, it could just be a sign of what's going on with the game. And again, we won't know till we see more of it. But beyond that, I think people who are trying to dunk on each other's consoles and act like this is something that like the initiative is handicapped and needs help with their work is just silly to me. We also have one more super chat, and then we can do a tap in if you'd like.
Yeah, we should. We got a lot of people, so we should probably bring in more.
Sure. Cassandra M's our next super chat. Was upset at PlayStation for KOTOR, but my narrative needed change. Now I'm upset at a new trend of developers and publishers shopping out exclusivity of games for a payday to CEOs, keeping it from the fans. Thoughts? Yeah, so what do you think about this? I've talked about this a lot, but what do you think about like Marvel games, Star Wars games going the exclusive route?
I think exclusives are overall a good thing because it breeds competitiveness between I think it brings like the best games to the table because natural competition can bring better products.
Yep.
But that's coming from a position of like someone who's privileged enough to own both consoles.
Sure.
So, and these are very hard to get, really hard to get. I'm trying to get another PS5 for my uncle right now, and it's fucking horrible.
Yeah.
So I can understand people being upset about exclusivity and stuff, but on the other side of the coin, I think it's really good for bringing the best games we can.
Mm-hmm.
But in regards to the next part of the question with paydays to CEOs, yeah, we're seeing all kinds of articles in journalism, like games journalism, from people like Jason Schreier trying to get more unionized game workers because really get taken advantage of, and it's sad.
Yeah, I'm of the mind that I don't blame these companies for licensing out their IP. I really don't. But on the other end of the spectrum, I think for gamers, it's this really frustrating reality of when Xbox started to clap back against PlayStation, it brought back this moment for PlayStation of, okay, this generation we've actually got to, I don't want to say try because they did try last gen, but we've actually got to make strong moves to make our console more appealing beyond just original exclusives only available on our platform. So this is stuff like locking down Spider-Man, locking down Wolverine, locking down KOTOR. And I don't blame them for doing this, but yeah, it's a little frustrating. With KOTOR, it's more of a specific case of frustration because I feel like they let it slide. I feel like Xbox should have been in there getting that, but I'm also of the mind that it shouldn't have been a competition in the first place. I want more and more people to hear about the Old Republic and why we love it. Hearing that it's a part of this exclusivity BS battle, it just irks me. But I also don't begrudge. Some people begrudge PlayStation for doing Marvel, and it's like it's not PlayStation's fault that, for example, Xbox isn't competitive in the space of superhero games, and that they seem to have no interest in it. So I don't blame them for that. But what Xbox needs to do is now return fire effectively. Otherwise, PlayStation's going to eat up that partnership with Disney and get them all. And Xbox can't allow that. So unfortunately, we're so deep into the game now, I think there's no going back. You're just going to see a ton of battle for these IP.
Yeah. I mean, Xbox is like both these consoles have like their pros and cons when it comes to like genres of games or whatever. Like Xbox, you know, their JRPG game, right? It's not as nearly as good as PlayStation, but some people don't care about that. And this is more of like a personal thing, but I kind of like having exclusive games because it sort of creates like an identity for my console. And that sounds really dumb.
No, but you're not wrong.
Demon Souls.
Yeah,
like Demon Souls. Like I didn't play that on Xbox, and it's like, okay, that's cool. It's like my PlayStation game. I got the platinum trophy for it, and like,
yeah, there's.
I don't know. Spider-Man's the same way.
If they're all the same, offering the same things, there's no, I think, attraction to the consoles. That's just the harsh reality of it. With that said, there was another correction in the chat for me. Yes, KOTOR is a timed remake, or a timed exclusive, and I do apologize. I never mentioned it as one, but yes, it is. It is a timed exclusive. I still think timed exclusives matter because I look at something like Final Fantasy VII Remake, which was assumed to be timed, and then we still have it on that console. So
I thought it was timed.
Well, no, I mean, it's
like, yeah, obviously not, but
yeah, I mean, it'll probably go to PC. It's been listed on Epic Game Store multiple times, but beyond that, I don't think it's going to Xbox, that's for sure. And that's what PlayStation's going to start doing. They're just going to pay to keep it off of a platform rather than paying to keep it only on theirs.
Yeah, they I know for sure that it was like supposed to be timed, but maybe with like when they released Intergrade and stuff, which you haven't played, by the way, which you need to play.
I know.
So good.
I know.
Yeah, they probably decided like, yeah, maybe we should keep it on our console for now.
Let's get another tapping going. Let's get someone else in here.
All right. Up next was the list isn't as like extensive. We have Unchem Talk.
Sure.
So let's get Unchem Talk in here. Hello, Unchem Talk.
How are you? Hello.
I'm just gonna call you Hawk.
Yeah,
that's okay.
I like that. Yeah, hi.
Hey.
How's it going?
Not too bad. How are you guys doing?
Doing well,
Doing
man. Great to talk to you.
Good. Yeah, great to talk to you again. I got the awesome opportunity to meet you at the
Yes.
Last Stand Media meetup. So
Yes, we did. Yeah.
Nice.
that was awesome.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming out to that.
Yeah, absolutely. It was awesome. Great time. So I guess since I'm the first person like calling in while you guys are mid-topic, do you want these call-ins to be about the topic, or do you,
You can
want
do
to?
whatever you want.
Yeah, whatever you want. We try to not wrap up the topic, but like conclude our thoughts before bringing someone else in. So if you have anything to add, it's up to you.
If you had something in mind during the topic you want to say, go ahead. Otherwise, just fire away whatever you want to say.
Yep.
Nah, okay. I'll just go ahead and change subject then.
All right, cool. Let's do it.
I like it. I was kind of hoping you would.
Right. So I had a quick question about how you guys handle like the influx of new games coming out at this time of the year. And for, Maddie, how do you pick and choose your different which reviews you're going to do when there's so many games coming out?
Sure. I want to get Paul's thoughts on this first, just because I know you're kind of getting into the review space now. You've done a couple this year, and you're starting to get your feet wet with what that's like. So have you started to feel that pressure, like as you balance stuff that you normally like, I'll just play this versus like now Deathloop, Hot Wheels, like you're feeling it roll a little bit, right?
Yeah. I recently started doing like reviews and getting review codes. I've probably gotten like 4 now, I think. And so for me, I don't have that pressure as much, but I've noticed it. And I think the hardest part is for me is like picking what I want to play versus what I need to review. So like how it works at where I write for like Tech Raptor, someone will say in chat like, hey, we got a code for this. And then everybody says like, okay, I want it. And then depending on who would be the best writer for it, depending on like their history with the series, and stuff like that. That's who gets the code. So I was kind of surprised that I got Deathloop because I mean I play arcane games, but I don't think they knew that. Actually, I only played one arcane game. I should backtrack there, but so yeah, I wrote my Deathloop review, which was very much against the grain.
You and I both were in the same boat there.
Yeah. And I got called me a racist for it. And I was like, okay, bro. Like, all right, man. Yeah, someone.
It's absurd.
I remember reading that comment. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it was funny. So to answer your question, for me, I don't know. I don't really have a method for picking what to choose and play. But I imagine sooner rather than later, it's going to be a problem for me.
I'll be there to catch you.
What to review. Yeah, it'll give me some pro tips.
Yeah, for me, you know, what I try to do with review codes now is I always lay out like seasonally what's coming out, and then I kind of make business decisions on two fronts, like what will be the most interesting to my audience, but also what do I want to play, because I don't think I'll give a fair review in the sense of like I have no interest in this, I don't want to play this, to whatever game's coming out that I'm not interested in. So for me, once I lay out that list, then I start putting little check marks next to like, this is what I definitely want to review. So far, I've actually been pretty successful getting codes for what I wanted to review this year. I really wanted to review Tales. I really wanted to review Deathloop. 'Cause these were games I was excited for, especially Tales. Like I thought to myself, like Tales, first Xbox or first Tales of game on Xbox in a while. That's great. Right. Like, let's see what people's interest on that is. That review did really well. Deathloop did extremely well for probably the wrong reasons, because people were just like there to click on it and be like, fuck you. But honestly, when it comes to picking what I want to play, it's tough. Like, this time of the year is always tough. So especially because I know, Hawk, you've been a patron for a while, so you'll know, like, I start to around August, September, roll out patron videos every week, to then by the time we get to December, I can just take some time off. So what I've got to do is balance like playing stuff now for review, stuff now for that content. And some of those pieces of content demand a lot of time in those games. Like I'm working on 2021 reviews for SWOTOR and Fallout 76, like as these fun projects with tons of skits. And so I'm not complaining, because it's a great spot to be in, but you got to make some business decisions. And eventually there is a lost judgment that comes along. I did have an opportunity to get a code there, but I was just like, you know what? I just played the first Judgment. I wasn't head over heels about it. I thought it was a good game, but I wasn't like crazy in love with it. I don't think that many people are looking for my thoughts on Judgment right now. And so I'm going to pass on this one. And because I look at other reviewers, like Carrick has passed on certain reviews, Skill Up has, and they're like the reviewers in the sense of they cover most things. Like they are on top of most new releases, because that's their brand. Like Skill Up does a news show and he does reviews, and Carrick's thing is reviews. So like that's their, like my news each day is their reviews. So I'm like, if they're making business calls on what they review, which I previously wasn't doing, then certainly I can. So for me, it's just about picking and choosing. And there's never like a tried and true format of like, this is always going to get cut. Because seasonally things are different. So I sort of just try to follow the vibe of where the public's at, where my audience is at, where I am at, and then you make the decision there. But timing wise, it's always tough.
Right. Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of the audience can relate, whether it's, you know, going to school or working. But even for people that don't do this for a living, it's really hard to pick what you're going to play.
Of course.
I mean, right now, I very quickly have a backlog. You know, your review was so glowing of Tales of Arise that I was like, all right, I'm jumping in for the first time.
Yeah.
So,
and
that's, you know, 50 hours.
Yeah, exactly. And
I was talking about it earlier.
Sorry, go on.
I'm talking about earlier I was saying, like, I'm playing Sekiro right now, but I have, like, Tales of Arise sitting on my desk, and I have Hades sitting on my desk. You know, even like I don't review games for a living. I'm a student, and like maybe one day I'll be at that position. I'd love to be, but it's hard. You know, like as a like full-time student, it's hard to play through all these new releases. So you got to pick and choose. Yeah. So many options.
Absolutely. I was gonna say just that you know, when it comes to reviews, like in general, I always try to be aware of how glowing I am, because I do think of what you just said. where some people feel that pressure of like, oh, that sounds really good. I don't want to miss out. I want to be there for that. And if you're overly glowing about something that you're like, it's pretty good ultimately, like, do you need to go out and get it? You can lead to people spending an unnecessary amount of money. Like, that's just the reality of it.
Right.
So there's also that consideration that goes into it of like, if I enjoy it, how you word that. Like, vocabulary is so important.
And I think another thing is people get caught up in like the hype of a game coming out. And I've met people like Soulpack, for example, Matt, who will only play certain games. Like Soul is waiting for new releases, and he's not playing other games. And I've met
You don't
more
want to
and more
slap him in the
people like
fucking
that.
face for that.
Yeah, I meet more and more people like that, and it's like when a game comes out, if it's really good, you can wait. Like it's not a rush. Like people need to like sort of realize that games aren't going anywhere, and like they have. If you don't have the time, that's understandable. But when you do have that free time, you can go and play. Like create your backlog, right? You're not in a rush to play the newest releases as soon as they come out to get your opinion on it. Like
Right.
for us, it's a little harder, Matt. But I'm saying for like generally people like who
Sure.
also deal with the same issue.
Definitely.
Yeah, I've had to do that for. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, that was
No,
I didn't have anything to
yeah.
say. I was just agreeing.
So they don't
Okay,
get
yeah.
caught up in the hype. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's what I'm having to do with Deathloop. I mean, I'm interested in playing it, but Tales is my game right now. I'm loving it. And I already like JRPGs, and I've never played a Tales game before, so
okay.
I decided now
You're
was the
making a
time to
good
dive
decision
in.
there.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say you're talking to the right guys here. You got me who said it was underwhelming, and Paul gave it a 6.5 out of 10. So
Right.
you could go return the game, in our opinion.
It's pretty short too.
All right.
I think it's only like what 15 hours.
It
right?
took me 13. I beat it really quickly. I didn't
think
rush
was
it.
a little I took a little longer.
Yeah, that was the thing. I mean, I was going off the PlayStation clock, which I probably shouldn't have done. I was probably in your ballpark, but like now that I think about it, I know the PlayStation clock's typically inaccurate, but I had people telling me I rushed it, and like you and I were in call playing it at the same time, and I was just like, we were just kind of we had time to play that game. Like we coasted with it, so it was pretty easy to finish in time and get our reviews out. But yeah, that's our review process, Hawk.
Awesome.
So I like that question.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you guys. H.A.M Live is going great so far, so
Yeah,
I'm digging
fingers
it.
crossed it
Yeah,
continues.
Right?
It just crashes.
Yeah, right.
Right.
I'll double upload the stream for next week too, I guess.
Triple upload next week.
Yeah, right. Make sure they know.
Yeah, that one stream is just like the thumbnail and that's it.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the thing. I was looking at my channel. I see my own banner there. I'm like, what the fuck happened? I don't even see the other one I scheduled. It had to be because of what happened with the graphics card in the beginning, but whatever. People are missing out on great art. Anyway, it'll be archived on the channel. Hawk, thank you so much for calling in, though. We appreciate you.
Yep, thank you guys.
Of course. Take care, man.
See you later,
Yep,
Hawk.
thanks, you too.
All right. News or
Wanna do
another
another
call?
one?
Let's do a double burst here. Yeah, let's do a double pump.
I don't know who was next, but I'm gonna just throw someone in.
Okay, go
we
for
got
it.
Paco. Bring
Sure.
Paco in.
All right, let's do it.
Paco Luigi, welcome.
Hello, Paco. I'm realizing now this is the first time I'm in call where his thing's blown up. His icon is like
Luigi.
is it Luigi? It looks like a Zelda Mario, like doing some type of.
Oh, yeah, I saw green, I
Yeah.
saw like the big notes. I thought it was Luigi.
Oh, hey guys, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, Paco?
Hey.
I was actually gonna go second to last if you wanted to pull in some other people, Kopi. But
Oh,
I'll go and do it now since I'm here.
You're already here.
Yeah.
You're already
Yeah,
here.
yeah. How are you gents doing?
Doing well, man. Feeling pretty good.
Yeah, enjoying Ham live.
Yeah.
It's have a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So I definitely had to stop by for the inaugural episode.
Of course, you're a part of
course.
history here.
So let's get right to business.
Please.
I hope you gents don't mind, but I have an idea here, a proposition, if you will.
Okay.
So we can do relive some of the struggles in the Discord. Let's go for the best Persona 5 waifu debate.
Okay.
So it's
Wow, what a great
if you
question.
should choose to accept, it's MrMattyPlays versus Kopi, moderated by yours truly. The rules
I
are
love
as follows. Kopi will call the coin toss first, as is the rightful honor of the new co-host. Format is as follows, like I said. Opening statements will be about 2 minutes each. You can go less if you want. You can go more. Again, cross examinations will follow that, 2 minutes each. And then you can have some rebuttals, right? 2 minutes each.
Okay.
Then closing statements, 2 minutes each. And of course, you can go less than this. It's just a suggestion, if you will. And of course, may the best waifu win.
All right.
Wow. Wow, you planned this out. Okay.
Yeah.
I just came up with like 30 minutes before, but you know.
Sounds like it was fully planned, like you were prepared. Oh, man.
I don't even have my answer. I know you do, Matt, but
I don't know. No, I think I got a little off the wall answer. I think I got to surprise you with this because if you know what I'm going to say, then you could win easily.
I to attack you, right?
Yeah, I need to tactically take you out by the knees here.
Character?
That's possible, but I'm going to trust that you won't.
What? Okay, it's fine.
Do you guys need like another second or so? The idea was to make it spontaneous so that your answers were very genuine.
I have an answer picked in my head. I don't know if I can go for about 2 minutes, Paco, but
no. It was just, let's just say that's the max time you can go for.
Yeah, no, of course, no, and I feel like we're at like the presidential debate right now, right? Like I feel like that's what's going on. Like we have the moderator here with the timer. Paul and I are gonna really start yelling over each other. I'm gonna say, "Hold on, I need to respond to that."
There's gonna be no Ace Attorney objections here.
Okay.
Neither of you gentlemen will interrupt the other.
Oh.
Okay.
So, Kopi, left hand or right hand?
I got right hand.
Okay, I'm sorry, it's in the left. So, Maddie, you actually go first.
All right.
This is to my advantage.
All right. Your timer starts now.
Okay. As a 26-year-old lad, I need to pick something within the legal confines of Persona 5, right? So you need to be intelligent with your selection here, especially in a live show. So of course I need to pick Kawakami. I feel like this is the most logical choice, but not only that, let's just start off with the bare bones here. We'll talk very matter of fact. We're talking about a teacher, right? And that is every young lad's goal growing up. It's like, I can date my teacher, but Persona 5 Royal allows you to live that moment. Not only that, but I have to say on a more serious note, Kawakami's arc in her social link is surprisingly strong. So I have to get into a little spoiler territory to break that down, right? As you start to get to know Kawakami, you're like, oh, here we go. Like, she's being posed as this sexy maid. Like, this is going to be a little awkward. It's going to be a funny dynamic between you and your teacher. But then you learn why she's working as a maid and the trials and tribulations she goes through and why she's so tired and short with patience. And I found myself connecting with that story a lot more because you get it, even though they sort of played on what I imagine would be a common trope, which is the hot teacher. It's like, oh yeah, sweet, the hot teacher. But like I said, they carried it a step forward, and I thought they did something really meaningful with her character where once it's all done, weird or not, by the way, I thought that her story was told extremely well. And so I found myself enjoying it. Now, there are certain mechanics that I have to argue with myself on, like as a teenage student, calling in your teacher for a massage. That's a little bit questionable, if I'm quite truthful. But beyond that,
sure.
I have
20
to
seconds
say,
remaining, sir.
Of course, yeah. No, I'm concluding as we speak here. So, in turn, Kawakami, you can achieve a dream, but there's something more meaningful underneath, and I think that's what everyone needs in a social link. So that's my argument for Kawakami and why she's the best.
Alrighty, thank you very much. All right, Kopi, are you prepared to make your opening statement?
Absolutely.
Alrighty,
so
your timer starts now.
So Matt's going to jail, first of all, for picking Kawakami. Because I'm as the person who's playing the game, I'm putting myself in Joker's shoes. So yeah, that's why my choice is different. Now, originally, when you suggested that we throw each other curveballs, because you would know my answer and I knew yours, my answer was originally going to be Kawakami as well because I love Kawakami. But since you chose her, I'm not going to pick the same character, and I'm going to go back to my roots. We're going to go with Kasumi Yoshizawa. Now, Kasumi, she's very polarizing for fans of Persona 5 Royal. And I can't talk about her too much without giving a lot away about the game, and I don't want to do that for the wonderful people in the audience because it's a great game and people should play it. So, with Kasumi, I think that she is Joker's other half. Okay, some people might say that's a catchy, but you could look at it just for their appearances, right? She resembles Joker so much, and I think that Kasumi she has a very well written character, and a lot of people don't understand why, because they see something that happened within the story and they don't think too much deeply on it. So I'm going to pick Kasumi. I'm not going to say why because it's a big spoiler, but I will say I love her design. I love how she plays in the game, and I think she's written phenomenally and is a great example of what she represents in the real world. Her example of what she goes through is wonderful, and the Persona writers handled that perfectly.
20 seconds remaining.
That's it. I'm done. I don't need the
Okay.
whole time.
I will say that.
You will say what? You've been cut off.
All right.
Right.
I was going to say, if you'd like, for the sake of your point, you can go into spoiler territory, and we can simply advise the audience to tune out for this portion.
I wouldn't
No,
do that
I'm
because
not
we just preached the idea of Persona 5 Royal being super impactful with our 2 call-ins ago, so we'll leave it at that.
Fair enough. I just wanted to suggest it.
We appreciate that.
Okay. So the next part, cross-examinations.
Okay.
So you may each ask each other questions, if you will, about some of the points they made. You don't have to use the full extent of the time, as previously discussed, but everyone should answer truthfully, and again, frame it in the best possible light. Let's not do any straw man arguments and things of this here. All right. So, Maddie, we'll go as we did in the previous one. You start first.
Well, see, the thing is what's tough about a Persona 5 debate is picking why a character is not interesting, because I think they're all inherently interesting. I will say this, though, that I feel Kasumi is a crutch for what is a much bigger plot point in the final arc in Persona 5 Royal. So I found myself a little twisted up inside as Paul was delving into her character. And I guess what I'll pass to him first as a question, if you will, is why does Kasumi resonate with you so deeply, despite her like very specific fantasy-driven experiences? And when I say fantasy, I mean like these unlikely things, like how she interacts with certain characters that make her the person she is.
So she doesn't resonate with me deeply. And as I said in the beginning of my discussion,
as you said,
I'm putting myself in Joker's shoes.
Oh,
right.
Oh, okay.
I enjoyed what she had. I didn't relate to her. Like, I didn't resonate in that sense. I didn't relate to Kasumi. But I found that, like, the story and the struggles she goes through, I found them to be really accurate to what... I don't want to say too much.
Sure.
But the themes, they're accurate. They're well done. And I'm putting myself in Joker's shoes, so I'm going after someone my age.
Now, then my next question would be, because you did also start off your argument with I'm going to jail. I'm not putting myself in Joker's shoes. I'm playing as I'm me, right? So
right.
That would be my next sticking point. How am I going to jail?
Well, Matt, I'll explain, and that's actually what I was going to get into when it's my turn to talk. But since I'll just go ahead and get into it,
Wait, Paco, permission to transition.
Actually, there's 20 seconds remaining. You have to answer his question, Kopi.
Okay. So, well, I was just going to say, Matt, I think you're taking your prior fantasies and experiences in high school and middle school, and you're placing it onto Kawakami, and that is absolutely creating a bias for your answer. And I want you to answer on that. That's what I was going to ask you.
What? Wait.
Okay. Well, I guess we're going right into Kopi's question there. All right. You may proceed, sir.
All right. So just to clarify, what is the question specifically? How have I pasted myself onto Joker, or how have I pasted my desires onto Joker?
Yeah, you're letting your your latent desires get in the way of an objective discussion on who's the best waifu in Persona 5 Royal. I mean, one of your major points is like dating your teacher is every boy's dream. Well, Matt, you're wrong. That wasn't one of my dreams. So let's talk about that. That's one of your dreams. Maybe you're speaking for the audience.
I don't know. We have a live chat here who can sound off. But beyond that, okay, maybe I shouldn't have spoken generally. I'll give you points on that, right? Like, I don't think maybe I should have spoken generally. But I just think that it's a dude bro fantasy. And not that I specifically wanted it, but like when the game offers the opportunity, it's like, okay, I think this should be very simple at its base value. In fact, it was just a building block on top of my strongest argument, which is that it subverts your expectations. You go in full Chad and you're thinking like, yeah, teacher, let's go. But then the crazy part is you find out she's got a really deep, meaningful arc. And it's actually quite sad. I'd argue it's one of the saddest social links. So that would be my reply.
Well, you see, this is Persona, and we've played Persona before. We've seen all these characters. We already know that this character is going to have a deep and interesting story. Okay, you already knew that going in. So once again, I firmly believe that you're letting your past, your desires, and your fantasies you need to get checked out, Matt. This is serious. This goes beyond our debate.
No, because here's the thing. Persona 3 is proof that every Persona game does not have great social links. But not only that, Persona 3 is proof that there is some illegal shit happening.
Persona 3 was before 4 and 5.
I know.
4 improved, and you...
Okay.
We
Okay.
still have the floor for about 10 seconds. Would you like to ask another question?
Nope, that's it. I don't need anything else. That's
Alrighty.
it.
Paco,
Alrighty,
your
gents.
judgment.
The next portion.
There's
I'm
more?
by no means casting. Oh yes, did you not hear what the format was?
I heard the
Sir.
cross-examination. What's next?
So rebuttals. So you may now construct, if you will, a statement to the points the other person has made, with the knowledge of what you've gleaned in the past portion here. And again, you can take as long or as little as you'd like. So, Maddie, you have the floor first.
I don't know if I have really anything to add. I sort of felt like the cross-examination was my additional point. Like, I felt I posed something that was quite bulletproof there. You subtract the fantasies there, and you still have a teacher who is posed in a certain light intentionally, so that when you do learn more about her, I think it's a little bit more impactful. And I think that's a pretty stone foundation, if you will, that cannot be shaken, broken, dismantled in any form. So quite frankly, Paco, I mean, you've provided me with multiple minutes, as much as I want on my own show, to speak as long as I want about the good word of Kawakami, but I don't know if there's anything else I need to add.
Now, Matt, I'm just going to stop you right there.
Excuse you, Kofi. Sorry. Matt has the floor right now, sir.
He said he was done.
I was done.
Maybe so, but I had to formally ask if he was yielding said floor.
All right, Paco. Go ahead and ask.
Are you done, Matt?
I am done. Yeah, no, like I said, I literally had nothing more to add.
Yeah, he's
All right.
absolutely done.
That's perfectly fine. You may continue, sir. Go ahead, Kofi.
All right. So, Matt, Kawakami is an absolutely amazing character, and I totally agree with you. She does subvert your expectations, and what she goes through is really saddening. Without spoiling too much, it's someone who wants to do something good, and something bad comes out of it, and she has to live with that, and continues to live with the trauma of it. So, with that being said, at the end of the day, when Joker's laying on his couch in his dingy attic, and he's getting a back massage from his teacher, who is moonlighting as a maid, the age difference is still there.
Oh,
at the end of the day.
It's not my point.
That's it.
I'm being straw man, Paco. I'm being straw man. The age part, I am analyzing her as a character. Granted, the floor is Kopi's, though. I must respect.
Once again,
I
this is
think
about
that's
waifus.
reasonable. I think that's reasonable.
This is
Try
about
to
waifus.
stick to it. Try to stick to it. All right.
This is about
Do you have
waifus.
anything else to say, sir?
No?
I don't think I do. I feel like my words stand on their own. I think Matt
course.
needs to think about a lot.
Okay. Yeah, totally. All right, gents. So I know this has been quite a long segment already, and I apologize for that. I promise to never come on again for the length of my time. But, so,
people get
if you
annoyed,
will,
but this-
closing statements, and
Closing statement.
finish your point, and we'll let the audience decide. You can even post a poll.
No, because here's the thing. I'm fighting against your structure here, because now I've doubled down on my point, and you're asking for a third point. It's like now you're choking out bad arguments. I refuse.
Sure.
I refuse. The closing statement was my last point.
Okay, that's fine. Kobe, the floor is yielded to you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much to say. In all honesty, like I said earlier, I was gonna pick Kawakami, but since I didn't, I had to muster up a way to shoot Matt down, and this is the best I got. So,
All right, fair enough. Well,
I'll
I've certainly
attack
had
his
you gents
character.
on long enough. I'll let you go. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
thank you, Luigi.
Appreciate you. My
All right.
God.
Great
Is
discussion.
that our show?
I-
I
I
forgot.
had to pull something out of my ass there.
Yeah, right? I forgot that was our show for a little bit. All right. Let's get into the news a little bit more. We certainly still have a little bit more to chip through, like the Nintendo Direct. Right?
Yes, please.
Quite the transition from Waifu Wars to Nintendo Direct. All right, so the first thing, we're just going to run down all of the announcements and things that were there, and then we'll just dive into whatever interests us, because that's how the show is clearly structured, as you can tell. First, we have the Nintendo Online expansion. This will be a paid expansion in October 2021. They're adding N64 and, to the surprise of many, myself included, Sega Genesis games. So for starters, you're going to have Super Mario 64, Ocarina of Time, Mario Kart 64, Star Fox 64, Sin and Punishment, Dr. Mario 64, Mario Tennis 64, Win Back, and Yoshi's Story. Meanwhile, on Sega Genesis, you're going to have Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Streets of Rage 2, Echo the Dolphin, Castlevania Bloodlines, Contra Hardcore, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, Golden Axe, Gunstar Heroes, Musha, Phantasy Star 4, Rise Star, Shining Force, Shinobi 3, Return of the Ninja Master, and Strider. They're also going to be releasing new wireless N64 and Sega Genesis controllers to work with the Switch. Furthermore, Bayonetta 3 was finally re-revealed as the Mario movie cast, which I'm sure we'll get into. KOTOR on Switch. Triangle Strategy arrives March 4th, 2022, featuring adjustments to difficulty, improvements to on-screen visuals like the UI, camera controls, the ability to review prior dialogue, and streamline game flow and loading times. This is all based off the demo. There's also Splatoon 3 gameplay and the Return of the Mammalians, which is a single-player campaign for the game, and it kind of looks dope. They had a Monster Hunter Rise expansion announced called Sunbreak, which arrives summer 2022. They defined it as a massive expansion, by the way. There were reveals of reveals. So October 5th, there is the final Smash Direct for Smash Ultimate. Animal Crossing also got a direct of its own coming in October. Mario Party Superstars is arriving October 29th, 2021. We also have the Castlevania Advanced Collection and ActRaiser Renaissance, which are out now. Yoko Taro's dropping a card game called Voice of Cards, The Isle Dragon Roars on Switch on October 28th. Dying Light Platinum Edition arrives October 19th, and Dying Light 2 Cloud Edition comes out February 4th, 2022. And last but certainly not least, Chocobo GP comes in 2022, which is a Final Fantasy kart racer. Paul, where do we begin with this one?
This is going to be a long segment. Fuck Nintendo, okay, for their 64 and Genesis emulation on the Switch, or whatever it is you want to call it, because you have to pay more, all right? Their subscription service is already ass. It is horrible. It's really, really bad. Trying to play games online on the Switch, it's just like you want to pull your hair out. Even in Mario Golf, there's problems. So I'm a little upset with Nintendo that you have to expand their already really shitty service for all these games. But of course I'm going to do it. Of course.
Yeah.
Because I've been dying to play The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. I've never played it.
Oh, really?
And I really want to play it. And that's probably the only thing I'll play on there.
Yeah. I here's the potential with it, right? And why I think they could justify, maybe not the expansion of the price tag, but like why you're paying for it. And that said, there are a lot of games that I think of on N64. Like, that was one of my favorite home consoles growing up. I think of Pokemon Stadium, and if they eventually throw that into the N64 library there, the mini games in Pokemon Stadium are so much fun. And the online connectivity where I could play with those games with my friends at any point in time is really exciting. A lot of us have been waiting a long while for them to expand that library beyond the NES and SNES games. I thought it was really impressive that they also made a deal with Rare to get stuff like Banjo-Kazooie. So it gives
Banjo.
Right, and it gives me hope that they'll finally start maneuvering around what I think sort of handcuffed the NES and SNES library, which was the licensing deals. Like, I felt like they were just adding bad games every month at certain points in time. So I was really excited to see a plethora of recognizable, timeless titles for both consoles, mind you. So I agree, though. I'm with you 100%. Fuck them for making us pay more. I think that's ridiculous because their shit barely works, and they just added Bluetooth to their system. And you're telling me I got to pay more for your library of games? Like, that's what you're going to do to me? So that's where I
see an
sit on
opportunity,
that.
and they know people are going to pay for it.
Oh,
they know it.
Yeah.
and we're all gonna fold, and
Oh,
we're gonna pay for it.
Dude,
It's ridiculous.
Laylee was stoked when she saw it because like one of her favorite games of all time is Donkey Kong 64. So when she saw that, she was like, "Oh my god! Like I hope they add that." There's a lot of potential with it. They know people will either pay for it or knee jerk pay for it, like one of the two. And you're gonna get a lot of knee jerk buy-ins for sure of like people who miss certain games and want to go back. And I do think there's something there, right? Like there is that amazing novelty of like being able to finally have the Switch do what the Wii did and the Wii U with the Virtual Console. But the difference there was those games were like separate and paid for, not a part of a additive subscription service.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't like paying for their subscription service now because I barely use my Switch, and when I do, I always have to like renew my subscription. But the one thing I do like about it is it's relatively cheap, especially if you compare it to like PlayStation and Xbox Live, or what is it, Xbox Live Gold, and then PlayStation Plus, right? So it's cheaper, but now I imagine they're gonna bump it up to match those numbers, and it's gonna suck because I barely play it, and when I do, it's for like one-off multiplayer sessions. Like last night, I've been playing this game called Kiwi. I don't know if anybody in chat has heard of it. I sent it to you, Matt, and you weren't interested because you're horrible. But it's really fun. It's like I've been playing with my girlfriend, and it's like a co-op. It's like Overcooked, but you're in a mail delivery place. So you're sending letters and you're walking around as a little kiwi, like the bird. It's really fun.
I
But
remember
had to
you
pay
said
for
that
it.
to me. You texted it to me, and I think I just said, "Looks fucking dumb." To, like
It's
mess
not.
with you.
Dude, it's so good. But the issue is I had to pay for Nintendo Switch Online, and so did my girlfriend because we don't. I use my Switch for single player RPG games most of the time and first party Nintendo titles.
Yeah.
So it just sucks that I have to. Yeah, Kiwi does look really fun. Someone in chat. So yeah, it pisses me off.
Yeah.
But all the other stuff in the Direct, besides that, well, actually, hold on. I do want to say they have the controllers. I don't know how much they are, but that is really
I think
dope.
they're $50
That's it.
each. I want to say, but that might be a shot in the dark. I don't know why.
I think it's pretty cool for them to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially
And
the 64.
I find it really interesting though. This was their chance to sort of reinvent the N64 controller.
Is it bad? I've never held one. I don't know.
It's a terrible controller. I think it's so bad, and I'm like, they're just selling. I get it, right? There's a nostalgia of like seeing that on a store shelf. Again, they're smart businessmen and women there. Like they know people are gonna buy it. But
There's a dozen people, dime a dozen people like Soul Pack who are just gonna go get it.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. But that's the thing is, the practical part of me says like this was your chance to take the N64 controller and maybe do an original and then do like a reinvented one. I don't know. Maybe it's because there's Joy-Con compatibility that I'm like being a moron here thinking of like, oh, reinvent things that already are kind of reinvented in a manner of speaking. But I thought that was a little, Data Lade said in chat, $50 each. And then, Cassandra with a great write-in here. Yeah, but you still have to use your phone for multiplayer chat.
Dude, they're so behind. It's insane how behind Nintendo is. Matt, you and I, we make bets on Mario Golf, right?
Yeah.
And like that one, there's been like a few times where like I've been kicked from the game because like it disrupts like their connectivity.
That's so
And,
true.
It could be my internet, but like
No, it's not. That's the thing.
Smash is the same way. Like if you're not hardwired to your router or whatever, like good luck trying to play an online game on the Switch.
Yeah,
So,
we go through these bursts of playing Smash in our group because what happens is the game doesn't get boring. It's just like, new character drops, and then always the killing blow is the connection. Always. Like we play for a little bit, then like one person signs on, and we just have that super laggy night, whether it be me,
you always have that one person that just like ruins the lobby.
And that's the thing, right? It's one person's lag is everyone's problem. So like when Trex joined us, he's from Canada. He's got spotty internet. He joins us. It's not Trex lags. It's the whole fucking lobby lags.
Yeah, Colin too. Like when they join, it's just
you know you're gonna have a worse time when those friends join. You just know that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I can't beat your ass with Pyra and Mithra because like I'm lagging up a storm. So
yeah,
it's horrible.
Fuck those characters. What else? What else is on the list here that you would like to dive into? I mean, there's a lot here that's screaming your name, but I'll let you take the floor.
I mean, we can quickly go over some of them. Have you played Splatoon?
No.
Okay, I played Splatoon 2. It's really fun, but 3 doesn't look very different. They released DLC for Splatoon 2.
Mm.
And I didn't play it because I didn't play it that much. Like I played a little bit of Splatoon 2. It's kind of fun to just jump. It's one of those like, hey, let's jump into a Splatoon 2 match. Oh wait, I got to pay $3 for a month of their online service. But
Right.
it's like one of those games for me anyway. So Splatoon 3 doesn't look very different from Splatoon 2. Looks very similar, but the new story does look cool. I like the idea of like rise of the mammalians, right? The mammals are coming
does look
back.
cool.
'Cause they're like I don't know if the lore for that game is interesting, but there aren't any mammals besides these two cute little cats, and I don't know if people have asked questions about that before, but they're answering it. So I don't know. I find it interesting. I'll probably pick it up to play it because I really enjoy the gameplay. It's a lot of fun when it works, but it suffers from a
works.
lot of those old Nintendo like the lobbies and queuing with people isn't easy. So that's my main problem with like Splatoon.
Yeah, I just never had
Splatoon
interest
two.
in the IP personally. Like I thought it just kind of looked. I got to play it though, right?
I think
to really
it looks
judge
so cool. I like the music too. It's got a lot of personality to it,
It definitely.
but I think
does.
it's hit or miss. Like I know you don't like it, so
Yeah.
I imagine a lot of people don't, and a lot of people do. What else? Triangle strategy. Let's get into it, Matt.
Oh,
We
yeah.
love Octopath Traveler.
Absolutely.
Triangle strategy is right up both of our alleys.
Dude,
Oh
that's
my
coming so
God.
much sooner than I thought it would.
I'm so happy.
Like
I'm so happy.
March?
March, right?
I thought that was going to be a summer game for us because like Octopath came out in August. I thought that's what they were going to do when they announced 2022, but March, early March at that, I was like, dude, yes. That game looks
I'm
excellent.
so excited. The demo was so fun. And like what I love is they released a demo and now they're taking feedback. Are they
Mhm.
doing another demo or is it just like released?
I think they want. I want to say they updated the demo, but someone in chat can correct us here in real time. But yeah,
Okay.
the demo definitely they made changes based off of that, and I thought that was encouraging because everything that they mentioned was like a pet peeve of mine. Not enough to like ruin the game, but when I saw them address those, I was like, all right, cool. This game's gonna be way better off the rip than what we played.
Yeah. The main two things I took away from it was the game was kind of hard, but that like so they adjusted difficulty. I don't mind the difficulty, but I know a lot of people will. And then the other one was like it performed really poorly.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, man, I hope they do a PC port like they did Octopath. But if they do that, I imagine it'll be later on, which kind of sucks because I want to play it on the Switch. I want to play it on like I want to get that like 4K experience on my Xbox, you know?
Right, right.
'Cause it
right.
looks. I love the look of those games, man. Like that's
Yeah.
what we're inspiring our game off of.
Absolutely. We just got a quick write-in here from Crushman Jonathan. Thank you for the super chat. Fingers crossed GoldenEye gets to the Switch in a lot more N64 games. Yeah, GoldenEye was one a ton of people were pleading for. So I have no doubt they'll figure that out. That's such a no-brainer. That's an iconic game for that console. But yeah, Triangle Strategy coming soon. And for those who don't know, that's once again from the team that brought us Octopath Traveler, and it's this turn-based RPG that's made in a 16-bit fashion, but it's in Unreal. So there's stuff that they call it 2D HD. Square Enix, they like trademarked it and everything. So it's this beautiful art style that blends like old and new, where it's got its retro ties, but it does a lot of modern things with its job system. And overall, it's a super impressive game in my opinion. And
The
to see
music
them
is
evolve,
phenomenal.
yes, it is, and to see them
the
evolve
music.
is going to be great. So I'm really really excited about that. We keep getting this webcam fucking spam bot in our stream. I never get hit with spam bots, but like again, never
Hot
banned
girls
it.
and
Anyone
boys
away with
video
you.
chat. Wow. Okay. Yeah,
Anyway,
what the hell?
what else we got on this list? Bayonetta.
Oof, dude. Okay, so I'm kind of weird with Bayonetta because I haven't played the first two games. I haven't touched Bayonetta, but I really want to because my girlfriend loves Bayonetta. So I'm gonna play it soon. That just sort of prompted me to want to play it. But I love the music from it. I grind the Bayonetta soundtrack.
Oh, so you never played, but you listen to the soundtrack. Interesting.
Dude, so good.
Fly Me to the Moon is a good one.
Fly Me to the Moon and Mysterious Destiny, I think it's called.
Mm.
I actually like got introduced to the music through Smash. I was like, this is so dope. So
That's
then I
where
just
Smash
jumped
is
onto
great.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Smash got me into
exactly.
Dragon Quest. You know, like I didn't care for Dragon Quest as much, but then you got like hands on with it. You heard the music, and I was like, I'm kind of interested in this series now. So
Yeah.
I feel you on that. I don't know. For me, like everything from Platinum, I love Bayonetta, but I'm just saying like that's like the series I love the least out of everything they've
Really?
done. Yeah, when they worked on Nier, I think when they worked on Astral Chain was their best game.
I still need to play Astral Chain.
You know, out of their good series, I should mention this is the one I love the least. But Bayonetta is still like fantastic. It's just the issue I have with it is like I look at something like Astral Chain, which makes a lot of sense and it's very wild and out there, but it's still very interesting. And Bayonetta's on this whole other level of nonsense, but it's a really fucking fun game to play, so it doesn't matter. And I like the other Platinum where they're just like making sense of things based off of what they learned from Nier and making really good combat. But we'll see.
Yeah, I love her design. You know, Kopi is a waifu connoisseur. People know in the Discord, and I think she's very pretty looking. So one thing that does bother me about it is the fact that it's a Switch exclusive. And I was just praising exclusives earlier, but man, I would love to play a Platinum game in 60 frames because I had to play Nier in 30 frames, and it wasn't that fun. So
yeah,
that's gonna suck.
Anything that demands 60 FPS and it's exclusive to the Switch. Like I think of Ultimate Alliance 3 as another example. Like that's one I would have loved to see running on next gen. Because then you get something like Octopath, which runs at 60 on Xbox, for example, and PC, and it's just this moment of like, this doesn't need to be 60, but this is great because it's 60. And imagine games that like Astral Chain, I think of, I would love that in 60.
Once again, this is like what pisses me off about Nintendo. Like they're so far behind, and Switch Pro, and we're getting an OLED console, like, which is nice, but it's like, come on, man, just give us like 60 FPS, 1080p should be a baseline. I don't care about 4K that much on a handheld console, okay? Just get us 60 FPS, even 720p. It's so like once you go to 60 frames and you go back to 30, like it's so hard to go back. Any game, unless it's maybe like a turn-based RPG, it's so difficult.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's my main gripe with Bayonetta 3.
KOTOR on Switch.
KOTOR on Switch.
It's happening.
I'm
$15.
Because KOTOR 2 isn't coming.
I know, right? You've played the first one, but you haven't played the second one.
I tried to, and the mods just crashed my game, and I gave up. I enjoyed what I played of it, though.
Yeah,
and I would have continued.
One day I'll set up a bet with you to get you through the rest of it. But, dude, I'm just so happy to see this coming to other consoles. I actually reached out to their producer on Twitter, and I was surprised I got a reply. Not because like they dislike me or something, but just I was surprised that they answered me. And I was asking like, hey, is this coming to other consoles? And they're like, we're focusing on Switch only, which I was telling you off the air was what I was hearing generally from them was that was what it was going to be, was a Switch only thing, which is strange because this is like a thing that Aspire always did, which is Switch and PlayStation. They would do ports, but like only Switch is really odd. So I don't know what exactly they're waiting for, but I want to get my trophies for that game so badly. But I'll play it on Switch, no problem.
It's exciting, but I'm not gonna play it. Like I have this gripe against playing games on the Switch. I really hate it. I really even when I'm playing Kiwi, I wanted to play it on PlayStation, but it doesn't come out until later this month on PlayStation.
Right.
So
no, I get where you're coming from. I do get it.
I just hate 30 frames. Like I really do.
I respect it.
Sometimes
I have it's fading, but I still have a tolerance for it. But it's fading. Like ever since we've moved to next gen, and I've had consistent 60, it feels more disruptive. Where during the PS4, Xbox One gen, it was like sometimes PC with 60, a lot of times 30, and like I just was going all over the place with it, where it never really mattered. But like now, it's just so disruptive. So I get you on that.
It's just so annoying too. Like I feel like, you know, like when you go into Spider-Man or Demon Souls and there's like a performance mode and a visual mode, like even on visual mode, I feel as if the game just looks worse because I'm seeing it in such a choppy, like 30 frames. So I don't know. I'm not gonna play it on the Switch. Switch is my first party, the occasional turn-based RPG console.
Yeah,
but it is cool that it's
slow
coming.
and methodical is best on Switch, I think.
I hope it comes to PlayStation because I would love to get trophies for it. You're the one who put me on KOTOR. I played it probably about like 4 years ago. It was before we started talking more regularly.
Right.
And yeah, that game is phenomenal. Yeah. So
I agree, and of course I agree, but more so like I just want more people to experience it. That's it. That's why I wanted, like, same thing with the remake. We don't know if the remake will be good, but I hate it. I hate that there's exclusivity, even if it's timed for it. And with the original KOTOR, I'm just like, like, okay, they've gotten every other old Star Wars game out in the same fashion, like PlayStation, Switch. It's a port. Here's trophies. Here's when it's coming. No new bells and whistles. Whatever. It's fine. Like, people just want to play the old games, and they team up with Limited Run. Limited Run does a physical release for it. Yada yada yada. And then you've got KOTOR on Switch, which just like is this sort of rush reveal. I was even looking at the screenshots, and they look really shitty. This is a 2003 game we're talking about, but they didn't look that good at all. And I'm wondering if what's taking so long is this is a 4x3 game. And there's so many different assets that now need to be like stretched. Where
No, they've done games. Well, not they, but I've seen 4x3 games on the Switch.
yeah, and I'm thinking that their transition, something with KOTOR, there's something underneath the hood with that game that I'm wondering if they're having issues with. Because some were asking me, I made a video about this, it'll be live tomorrow, but like, well, and for those listening to the podcast when it's not live, it'll have already been live. But a lot of people were asking me about KOTOR 2 and where I think it is, and it's like I'm of the mindset that given the update that they dropped for KOTOR 2 on PC in 2015, like a lot of people say like you need the mod, the restored content mod. I told you when you downloaded it, I was like, you need that mod, like you need it.
Yeah.
And there are other mods you can get that add to the game that I suggested to you, but like the restored content mod.
Canon, what's her name?
Oh, Canon Surik, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they just went crazy with it with her model. It's like, okay.
Proportions, very magnified.
Yeah. I was really surprised by that. I'm not gonna lie. But with KOTOR 2, I think they're just trying to find a way to get the restored content mod as like a permanent part of the game. Because that would be really, really cool for anyone coming back. Because KOTOR 1 doesn't really have that. But I digress. We got some super chats.
One big one from Felix.
Well, hold on. We got one from Colin.
Oh, wow. I didn't see that.
Yeah. No excuses, Paul. Play KOTOR 2 now. Let's go.
Okay. Nice. I am obligated to play KOTOR 2 now. And then there's one from Felix.
Yeah, Felix, thank you for the massive super chat. We appreciate you, man. 3D Kirby was the OG of the Direct. We know Matty's jam is KOTOR. Which game is your all-time favorite, Kopi? Also, congrats on the new Ham Radio era. Celebratory drinks on me. Hey, thank you. That's very nice of you. And shout out to Crystar and Jacob for becoming members of the channel. We appreciate both of you as well for helping us out with what we're doing here. So, Paul, favorite game of all time. Let's pass it off to you, and then we'll get back to the Direct.
Dude, this question always like bounces around in my head. I'm gonna give you like 3 because I can never ever pick a favorite. It's so hard. But got one is Kingdom Hearts, like the first one, because there's a huge nostalgia connection there for me. So I'm very biased with when I talk about it. But that's like the first JRPG I played, even though it's like you could loosely call it a JRPG. I mean, it is, but it's like action, and it introduced me to Final Fantasy, and it's one of my favorites. And then Fallout 3. Oh no, sorry, Fallout New Vegas, not 3. Fallout New Vegas. I love Fallout New Vegas, and I love Fallout 3 too. But New Vegas's whole like Western theme, I love like cowboy shit and Western shit. So all of that, and also because of the improvements upon Fallout 3 into New Vegas, is another reason. And then I guess the last one would be Persona 5 Royal because, man.
Yeah, as we talked about.
10 out of 10 game. Like, it's so hard. It's so hard to, the music, the gameplay. Here's the reason why it's up there for me. It's a 120-hour game, and it never gets boring, in my opinion.
That's a good point.
It never gets boring. And I've never played a game that long that doesn't drag. So
yeah, there's something not to steal your thunder here when I say this, but like there's something with New Vegas that I went back to it recently, as you know, and I was recording it for a video. And normally that warm feeling I get from Fallout, I typically only get with 3. But this was the first time I hopped back in, and I was walking around the strip, and I was talking to characters, and I got that warm feeling with New Vegas, where I was like, this game is so fucking incredible. And not only that, but the thing that I always fail to understand is we see a lot of games building their open world RPG blueprint off of GTA constantly. And I wonder why it's never New Vegas. I'm like, if you're making an open world RPG, this is your blueprint. And by blueprint, I mean you have the character at the center with like multiple factions and routes for factions. Like it is such a simple structure, but it works so well. And I'm so shocked continuously. Like when you look at Cyberpunk, I thought it was a really good game. But when you look at its RPG system setup, it tries to copy GTA in a weird way. Like, not as an RPG, but I'm saying, like, it's open world, it's interaction with characters and factions, where it should have copied New Vegas. And I just don't get why there's this hesitation to copy what is, I think, the definitive open world RPG.
I think the reason why you don't see that as much is because it's really fucking hard to do and get it right.
True.
Look at Fallout 4. They try to do it right. You have 4 different factions in that game.
Yes.
And like,
very true.
And like, I'm not a huge fan of Fallout 4, like, at all. I enjoy it. I think it's a good game, but its RPG aspects are so limited compared to prior entries. So I think it's hard to get a game where you have 4 different factions and you feel as if every single choice you make or every single faction is objectively different. Like, they're just so good, and each one is entirely depending on. I feel like no matter what courier you play, you could fit into any of those, and it's hard to do that. Like even if you're the weirdest, wildest courier in the world, you can be with Yes Man, and it works. It makes sense. And also, I know you wanted to say something, but even in the DLCs for that game, there are like different endings that you could argue are different factions. Not really, but like in the Sierra Madre, you can stay there with Father Elijah, whatever his name is.
Yep.
Like, it's one of the endings. And same thing with Lonesome Road. Like, it's just insane. That game is so well done. Such an amazing title, and I think it's hard to do that. That's why more companies going
it's
through
never
it.
easy. And I think New Vegas definitely benefited from the idea that Fallout 3 had all the systems built, so they had a tool set ready, and they just had to really go in on the narrative. Not that everything else was simple, but they had a lot of things set up for them in the early going compared to, like, even Fallout 4. I think that's a big difference maker for them, but they made the most of their opportunity. That's why, like, I remember interviewing Chris Avalone and talking to him about that and asking him, like, hey, Chris, did making the game in like a year and change impact the development? He's like, no, we had plenty of time to do everything we want. He's like, any of the game's shortcomings were on us, not the game itself or like the time we were given. He's like, we had plenty of time. So I'm of the mind that given the size of the open world and all of the dialogue and interactions you had there, like, because Bethesda gave them the tools from Fallout 3, they were just using those and building essentially a new game. And I wish they would just go back to that formula of handing out Fallout tools to other developers. It'd be really nice.
It needs to happen. It really, really, really does.
Shout out to Revan, who did his quick super chat. I nearly got emotional when they announced Coach over Switch. I love this game with a passion. I can tell. I named my dog Revan, so I'm right there with you. All right, what else do we got on this Switch list here?
We should hit some of the bigger ones. We got.
We hit all the big ones. We didn't hit the Mario movie cast.
Dude, do we even need to talk about how bad that is?
I thought that shit was so funny. I burst out laughing.
Dude, it looks like it reminded me of like an SNL skit. Like,
it really
did. So funny. Like,
it really did.
It's so ridiculous, dude. Like, oh my god, I don't even know what to say. Like, it speaks for itself.
I was actually just going around everyone's reaction streams that they left archived of like YouTubers that I keep an eye on and stuff, and just watching that part of the stream, and the reactions were just like incredible. Like this. Everyone had the same why Chris Pratt as Mario.
Dude, not even Seth Rogen Donkey Kong.
I know, right?
Dude, what?
I know.
Like, the Princess Peach choice, I'm like, okay, I know that actress. I've seen her in a few movies. I think she fits. It's not really hard to get Princess Peach, right? Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
I think it's amazing that they have the original Mario in the game in the movie, and they're like, but we got Chris Pratt, and they say he's so cool, and I'm like, bro,
what is wrong? Yeah, he's so cool. Like, dude, talk about that Hollywood industrial complex. Like, holy shit.
I know.
Like, it is a Jack Black Bowser. David said in chat, like, what the fuck?
I know.
Like,
I know. Unkempt Talk super chat. Mario movie is a day one watch just for the cast. I'm ready for whatever this turns into. That's what I thought. I was like, maybe this was a part of the plan, because when I saw these names like Jack Black, Bowser, Donkey Kong, Seth Rogen, I'm like, this could either surprise me and go, oh, they did a good job. But hearing like Star-Lord going like, it's a me, like, dude, come on. Like, that can only be hilarious, right? So I'm going to the theater, kind of like I went to with Sonic, and going, all right, let's see how shitty this is.
Adore to be proven wrong, because like, look at Detective Pikachu. I haven't seen the Sonic movie. I love Detective Pikachu, but
so good,
I think the main reason I love it is because of Ryan Reynolds Pikachu. So who knows? Like maybe Chris Pratt will just
Be a
do
stellar
great
Mario.
Yeah, right. I mean, I don't know. Like Mario's such like a
Do you
flat
think like?
character.
Do you think like? I gotta get morbid for a sec. Do you think it's because like Charles is getting on in age and they're like trying to usher in a new era of Mario and they're just like kick it to the curb, old man. We got Chris fucking Pratt now.
I don't know, man. I mean, doing Mario's voice isn't. I'm not gonna say it's not hard because I like for a voice talent. I imagine it's not. It's like an iconic voice. Like I've seen people mimic it all the time. So I don't know. Chris Pratt, man. Like,
Yeah, I know.
like Star-Lord is now our Mario.
Yeah, I
He's a
mean,
cool guy.
yeah. I have no more thoughts on it. I thought it was kind of hilarious. We got in here. I know you're gonna want to talk about this because you were just talking about how much you love Nier. Yoko Taro, voice of Cards, the Isle Dragon Roars. This game, like when I don't know if you had the same moment I did, but when I heard the soundtrack, I said live on stream, I was like, this sounds like Nier. And then they showed Keiichi Okabe, the composer for Nier, and I was just like,
oh, they have dude. That's
Yeah.
it. I'm sold. I didn't even know this composer.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's got the whole team. It's like Yoko Taro, Okabe, and like I forgot the other two names I saw that are always in like every Yoko Taro game. It's like those four are always there. So it'll be interesting for sure.
I don't like card games at all. I hate card games. But the moment I saw Yoko Taro, I was like, dude, I don't give a fuck what kind of game this is. I'm playing it. Like yeah, that's exciting. It did look interesting as for someone who doesn't like card games. I thought it's like an entire turn-based RPG, but everything's a card, right?
Yeah, but they also like when you explore the world, like you're this little chess piece almost, and you're like hopping between cards, and so you're exploring, and like the cards will have like forests on them, and like they'll fade into combat. It looks really interesting. I'm not gonna lie, like it's very budgety. Like you can tell they were like, here's $50,000, go make a game, but it actually doesn't look bad at all.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just it's weird seeing them like go from like these action games to like a card game. So
yeah, I agree. Here's the thing: is I know Yoko Taro's so out there that they probably are hesitating to give him a ton of money. Ever since like Automata occurred, they're probably like, "Huh, this guy can really make us some money if like something hits." And so then they did Replicant, and they're like, "Oh, this didn't really do that well," because Replicant, I don't think it did. It didn't do as well as Automata for sure. But like with Replicant, the issue was, as you know, you and I had discussed ad nauseum, was that they didn't make logical changes. They retained too much of the original game, and the original game was very flawed. It wasn't a bad game; it was just very flawed. So I think they're hesitant to hand him a big check. So they're gonna have him make stuff like this, and honestly, I think that's where he thrives. So,
yeah, dude. I mean, I'm excited for it. I don't have much else to say. I just Yoko Taro. Yeah, he's a genius. I'm not kidding. Go play Nier Automata. Nier Replicant's great too. I love Nier Replicant, but Nier Automata is it's a celebration of humanity. I've seen that YouTube, like someone has a YouTube video where they call it a celebration of humanity. And I think that's like the best way to describe Nier Automata. It is so good.
Yeah, there's a lot of emotional depth to that game. And then the last two I just want to talk about real quick. We don't have to sit on it too long. Are Castlevania Advanced Collection and ActRaiser Renaissance. These were shadow dropped. Castlevania Advanced Collection leaked a ton. I'm definitely going to pick that one up at some point in time because I have neglected Castlevania for a while. But ActRaiser Renaissance was the game I bought immediately. I don't know if it was NES or SNES. Someone in chat can correct me. But ActRaiser to me was that game I always wanted to try. For those who don't know, it's like this 2D Metroidvania game, but it's also a God mode game. So after you finish these levels, you go out and you build your city, you build your town, and they evolved all those mechanics for like modern hardware. And it looks so good. Like it was so ahead of its time back then. I remember looking at reviews for it back then thinking like, this is such an ahead of its time game. And now that it's out again, I bought it immediately. Like even if I take a while to play it, I was like, I want this game to evolve and then to do another. Like I want them to know we'll happily pay for it because ActRaiser, it looks awesome. So I cannot wait to play. I'm probably going to mess around with it a little bit this weekend. But to me, that was like the next to KOTOR. That was like the I need to get this right now type of announcement.
Yeah, Castlevania I've never played. But once again through Smash, like the music in Castlevania sounds so cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I'll pick it up, but I'm glad that they're bringing it up,
Yeah.
to the Switch. And ActRaiser, I never even heard of before the announcement. Are there physicals for these games?
I don't know. I don't
Because
think so.
I would get one for ActRaiser like immediately because everything they showed looks so cool.
Yeah, I agree. I
So-
would do the same. I would do the same for both these games. I imagine they will. I'd be shocked
I
if
mean,
they didn't.
Limited Run could like jump in and
Yeah,
save the day.
as always. Yeah, Limited Run
Yeah.
will be the ones who 100% for both those games. That's all I got on the direct though. Do you want to do a little tapping?
Yeah, let's get someone. It's been a while.
Yeah.
We got a few people waiting. I think Mufat was next,
All right,
or Forge Horizon. We'll just bring him in.
go for it.
Welcome.
Oh man, it's the man with the name that tortures me every time I open my mouth in the Ham Radio podcast.
Yeah, I didn't say his name because
yeah,
I don't want to
It's
mispronounce.
Mafat. No, it's Mafat Cock. Yeah, trust me. It's a play on words.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, he left. Hold on.
You got scared. I was saying his name.
Go ahead, drag him back in. Let's see.
All right. Hello, Mafat Cock.
Yeah. I know.
Welcome.
I need to get his actual name because
I'm just gonna say Mafat.
yeah,
That's it.
he's muted currently, so now he's deafened himself.
I think he's trying to unmute.
Yeah, I think what's happening is it's probably something in the call-in room. We might have to drag someone else in. I think what's gonna happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's bring in Forged Horizon. Well, we can come back to Mafat.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for calling in, Forge. Are you here? Oh man.
It has to
Imagine
be
he just
through
like
the
decided
call-in
to
room.
step away. No, it's not. Oh wait.
Well, they can keep going back. It's weird.
I wonder what's going on here.
We'll try Forged one more time,
Yeah.
and if not, we'll go to Josh.
Yeah. Go for it.
Don't forget to switch to the overlays.
No, I am. Did I
Oh.
not? Yeah, no, I
Uh,
haven't switched yet. We're good.
I think it's a little messed up. Oh, there we go.
Forge, can you hear
Hello.
us? No.
Oh, he just
yeah,
muted.
it's still mute and unmute. I wonder if it's something to do with permissions. Ben had talked about
I-
that a little bit, but it shouldn't be.
Let me see.
You're an admin. Right click on Forge and make sure their
Is it allowed to
permissions are
speak?
like a patron or something like that. That could also be it.
Call-in room. I just made it like an open channel. I don't know if I should have done that, but
Probably not.
Your private channel. There we go. Everyone can. Okay. Let's move him out and back in.
Yeah. If that doesn't work, we could
Hello.
try. We can try someone else.
Well, because someone else worked, so I don't know. It could be them.
Yeah.
but-
Forge, if you can hear us right now, we're gonna try Grimblade because Grimblade is a mod or an admin. So I want to know if it's a status based thing. That'll give us our answer. So Forge, just know we're gonna try to figure this out for you as well as my fat cock. Not
Okay.
my personally, but the name. So
Ford said he's getting disconnected, so we'll have to figure this out. But for now, we'll bring
Okay.
in. We have three people who are admins in there, so we'll bring one of them in. They'll be able to talk for sure.
yeah.
Grim.
Hello,
Going on?
Grim.
Right. Hold on just a second. Let me mute the stream.
All right, no problem. Okay, so this was just in the meantime. So you probably saw this. So this is an admin thing.
Yeah.
Because now that I think about it,
Well, the
coincidentally,
last person who wasn't the admin, right?
Unkempt Talk's not an admin, actually, now that I think about it. So,
Paco is though.
yes.
We'll have to get Ben in to figure it
Yeah,
out.
we'll have to get Ben Smith to
Apologies,
figure us-
everyone.
Yeah. Sorry about that, everyone. Anyway,
And
Grim, how are you?
Doing all right. So I go ahead and go, or you want to try?
Yeah, no,
and
you're,
see?
you're nope, you're good to go, man. Go for it.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask a quick question. I noticed you got this fancy overlay here. Am I good to use my camera? I can
Yeah,
display
yeah.
it.
If you
Yeah,
want
go
to,
ahead.
yeah. We don't want to make anyone feel like they got to, but whatever you want.
Yeah.
let's go. Someone's turning their
All
camera.
right.
on.
Hey.
There we go. In the
There we go.
flesh. Perfect.
Oh wow! I've never
Nice
seen
to
you.
see you
Grim.
guys.
Nice to see
Yeah,
you as
I've-
well.
Yeah, I think I've been on the podcast before, so I've shown my face in
Yes.
the past.
Yes,
It's been a while.
it has been.
So anyway, I when I watched the Nintendo Direct yesterday, I was floored when I saw the announcement for the new Kirby game.
Oh.
Now I I know you guys maybe not so big on it, and a lot of people don't really care. But for me, Kirby is something special. Kirby is to me what KOTOR is to you.
Okay, gotcha.
Kirby is the game that brought me and my best friend together. And so when they revealed that Kirby trailer, the graphics, the post-apocalyptic setting, these are things I did not expect from Kirby. 3D platforming,
Yeah.
I was beyond emotional.
Right.
I cried a couple of manly tears.
Of course.
And so this was very exciting for me. And having seen your own reaction, Matt, just a week or two ago with the KOTOR remake.
Of course.
My question is for you, Kopi, as a new host, I would like to know, what is the announcement that has given you the most emotional impact? Not the game itself, but the announcement. What floored you more than anything else?
That's a really good question, and like, I don't know how to answer it. Probably Fallout 4. That was a while ago, but the reason why is because I remember I was in middle school when Fallout 4 got announced. So I was a student aide for my technology teacher. So like student aide is like if you don't want to do like PE or whatever, because I was a little wimpy, skinny guy. So I did it. I was a student aide instead, and I had my own little office area. It was pretty neat, and I was watching, and like I was so excited. But I didn't have anybody there like to like share the experience with. But I was like so stoked, and I think that's like the one thing that I can think of off the top of my head that really like it didn't have me emotional like crying. I don't think I've cried at a review, but I was like super excited. The other one, this is weird because I love Banjo, I love Banjo, but I haven't played Tui. I've only played the first one in Kazooie. So I'm almost weirded out that I had this reaction, but when Banjo was revealed for Smash, I was like jumping and dancing around in my room. I don't know why.
I didn't know that.
I just love the idea of Banjo being in Smash. So yeah, Fallout 4 and Banjo's reveal really just had me moving me crazy.
Yeah, and my reaction with Kirby was the same. I got up and I ran off another room. I had to go tell everyone. I was like running around, dancing, screaming. I was like, oh my god, I could not believe it. And just to give a little more context for you guys, if you don't really play Kirby, it has been over a decade since there was a really good Kirby game. The last one that really comes to mind for me was Game Boy Advance. Okay. So it's been a long time.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I remember they had that. It was around the Switch launch. They had a new Kirby game, right? It was like a 2D one. And I remember with the Nintendo Online, they had a original Kirby game that I played, and that's where I got it on. I never understood why people, I gotta be honest, liked Kirby. I just knew Kirby from Smash, to tell you the truth. And when I played that Kirby NES game, and you could see like the way Kirby would interact in the environment, like the absorption and like transforming and how that would work with different enemies, I loved that. And so seeing that in 3D, that was the most surprising part. I was like, this is a pretty open game. It almost looked like, I don't know if you agree with this, but I kind of got like Mario Odyssey vibes, except it's Kirby. And I thought that was really exciting.
Yeah,
absolutely. I got that. Sorry, go ahead, Kobe.
No, it's okay. You can go. I was just gonna say that like it looks awesome. I've only played one Kirby game. It's that like free one on the Switch, but he's such a cute little dude. I love how he looks. So yeah, I'm like super excited for that one. I love platformers too.
I was just gonna say in response to Matt to what you just said, I do get the Mario Odyssey vibes, not so much from the Mario Odyssey game itself, but from the fact that Mario Odyssey, as well as Zelda Breath of the Wild, were sort of reinventions of their respective franchises. And that's what I see when I see this Kirby game. It's the Breath of the Wild for Kirby. And Kirby does have that legacy, but a lot of people have forgotten because it's been so long since there was a good one.
Yeah, I was going to ask, when you saw the post-apocalyptic, or seemingly post-apocalyptic, what was that like for you? Because I'd never associated the two. That's why it caught me off guard.
Oh, and that's the thing. Like Kirby is so cheerful, and you can see from the very saturated colors in the game. Like the color work is beautiful. It's very Kirby still while still having that kind of darker edge. And Kirby always kind of plays with darkness. The villains tend to be very dark, evil, maniacal creatures. So it's fitting for Kirby. It's not a bad change, and I think people will really come to respect Kirby a little bit more as it is a children's game.
Sure.
Don't get me wrong. It's meant as an entry level platform. But I think people, teenagers, adults might like this one better than other Kirby games.
I mean, here's the thing: is it caught my attention more than any other Kirby game has in a while. Again, like I wanted to play that one at launch, but when I heard it was like 4-6 hours long and it wasn't that challenging. I don't know if that's also an attribute of Kirby in general. Like if they're typically challenging games in the past. So yeah, for me, otherwise, it caught my attention. So I think they're already doing a good job.
Yeah. I had something to add. It's a little off topic, but like we have Kirby seemingly doing this like reinvent the wheel, bring something new to the series, bring it back to life. We had Zelda do it. We had Mario. What is Pokemon?
Yeah.
Hopefully it's Legends Arceus.
Yeah.
Arceus. Yeah.
But
yeah.
I don't trust Game Freak that much. Are they like fully heading development of that game, or is someone else like taking the wheel?
I think they have help.
I hope so, because I really need it.
I know that Zelda Breath of the Wild, the Xenoblade team developed the open world.
Right.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It looks like they've had help from the other Nintendo studios, but it hasn't been like formally announced. If it is the case, then it'll probably be like something you see in the credits. I don't know. Maybe like there's a Pokemon fan out here who can for the next week.
Yeah.
But you can go back and look at Sword and Shield, probably on the expansion passes. If there was a support studio that worked on those expansion passes, they probably worked on Arceus.
Okay. I heard that people like the expansion passes, so I guess
I was so
encouraging.
I wanted to play them, but I was so bothered by that game's existence that I didn't want to give them money.
Yeah.
I hate that game so much. And a lot of people like it, and I respect play what you like. But going from Sun and Moon to that was one of the most disappointing things I've ever experienced in gaming. I love
there
Pokemon.
with you. Yeah, I'm 100% there with you.
Bad.
Yeah, you and I are in unison on that one. That's the thing is I want to get excited for Legends Arceus. Is it Arceus? Sorry.
I think it's Arceus.
Regardless, I want to get excited for Legends. We'll just call it, or at least I will. And I just keep pulling myself back because I don't know if this leap of faith is going to work for them. Quite like it has for other franchises. And it's really interesting because they're doing the right things. Like you've got another developer handling the Diamond and Pearl remakes. It's like, okay, perfect. And they're adding some new mechanics and it actually looks really good. And it seems like this happens to Pokemon a lot where it almost fights with itself and like these random games that come out almost do better than the mainline series. So it'll be interesting to see how that part shakes out. But I like that Nintendo's taking a step forward with something like Kirby, which is typically not a franchise that gets significant 3D releases. So I hope that this step forward puts it on people's radar and puts it in the sales charts more than anything.
Absolutely.
And I want to leave you with one more thought on that note. Imagine what they could do with F-Zero. Now, in Smash Bros., we learn that Captain Falcon is a bounty hunter. In F-Zero GX, we kind of see him almost like a comic book character, like in these cutscenes, having interactions like you would expect to see with superhero movies. So what if we had an F-Zero game that wasn't a pure racing game? And the F-Zero fans are out there; they're about to crucify me. But what if we had like almost like a GTA thing where you have the sections where you run around as a bounty hunter, and then you get in your car and you do races. I'll just leave you with that thought.
Well, I didn't even know that about Captain Falcon.
I would have to brush up on my F-Zero lore because I really don't even know much about the game itself. But if that's what you're pitching to me, like I'm in. Like, let's go.
100%, man. Falcon punching people and then getting in my car and like running away. Like,
They taking their fucking finger for a bounty and like.
I'm about that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks guys for having me on.
Of course. Thank you so
love your
much, Grim.
question, Grim.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you. All right.
All right. Paco apparently fixed our problem, so I want to bring Horizons back.
Perfect. Yeah,
Let me give
go
him a
for it.
chance. Wait, no. Who was first? Mufat Cock or
It was
Forged
Mafat
Horizons?
Cock. Mafat Cock.
Okay, we'll bring him in.
Yep, go for it.
Mufat, can you speak?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey,
go.
there we go. All right.
Shout
he
out
did
to
fix it.
Paco.
All right, I'm
Yeah.
in.
Paco fixed it.
This is why the live
Fantastic.
show works. Hey, thank you.
Yeah.
What can we call you besides Mafat Cock?
Well, for short, you could just call me Ray. That's what all my friends call me, so Ray goes just fine.
All right, Ray.
Okay.
How's it going, man?
But so it's going really great, man. It's funny that brief point we're talking about the initiative earlier and how they were calling themselves a quadruple A studio. See, you and I are both baseball fans, so quadruple A means something different to us. As someone who can't cut it for the major leagues, triple A is your highest level before getting up there. And that kind of left like a weird sense in my mind. I'm like, are they saying the studio's not good enough? But that aside, I wanted to talk to you guys about something that I find kind of funny in the discourse between like the console wars, how ridiculous that is anyway. But so, when it comes to exclusives, everybody tries to jump down on Xbox, say that they don't really have the games. But like if Sony had a game like Ori, it would be blasted through the roof. Everybody would be talking about what a wonderful game it is, talking about the color palette, the gameplay. If they got Flight Simulator running on PlayStation, they would be talking about the power of the PS5. But conversely, the Sony fans are now getting mad at Xbox because they're losing Bethesda, they're losing all these games, Wolfenstein, Doom, etc. And I don't have a problem with that as a person who plays on both consoles. My only issue is the concentration on something that Kopi mentioned earlier, which is keeping a competitive balance between the two consoles. We're going to take Switch out of this equation for right now.
Of course, yeah.
But
Yeah, right.
so my main concern is if, say, for example, Sony loses one of its major, what would you say, exclusives in something like Persona, is going to be a massive hit to what they have competitively. I know that a lot of people want to see Persona on Xbox, but it's just ever since Persona 1, Persona 1 was also on PC, but it's the only one that has actually crossed from any other PlayStation platform, whether it was PSP, whether it was PS Vita, and now PlayStation as well. Now, we also have another game that recently came to PC, but I think it kind of hurts that competitive balance that Microsoft and Sony have with one another. If they continue to lose products that they already have, as opposed to losing third-party, all-platform products.
Right. So, to get more into it, like, is your question, or are we were just going to talk just general competitive exclusivity?
I wanted to see what you thought about the competitive balance and whether or not it does affect it, if you agree with me, or if you had a differing thought from what I actually had.
Paul, you want to go first?
So your question is like, do we think the competitive balance between these two consoles, does it really impact a game's success, or more so how good a game is? Is that what you're asking?
No, not so much. I'm more so saying if like Sony loses something that has been a platform exclusive for them,
Okay.
does that hurt the competitive balance? Whereas opposed to losing a third party where like Fallout and Elder Scrolls has always been on all consoles, and losing that is less so of a hit because nobody's buying a console because you could play something third party. You're usually buying something because of the exclusives attached to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you. Now. Sorry about that.
I don't think that's actually a really interesting question. Now that like I understand what you're asking, I don't know, because when you're picking a console, or at least in the past, you like, let's say you're a big Bethesda fan, you wouldn't have to think like, is the Bethesda game going to be on here, because it always would be. Granted, PlayStation PlayStation releases of Bethesda titles tend to be a lot worse in performance and bugs and stuff than Xbox. But I don't know. I feel as if for a small percentage of people, it might affect like which console they pick. But personally, I think people that are gaming, I think more people are shifting towards just buying both or having both, or at least having a computer and a PlayStation. Because if you have a computer, you basically have an Xbox, right? Like you can play all
Effectively, yeah.
those exclusives. So I don't know. I think Matt might have more insight on this question. He's the big.
If I could
professor.
just give you one extra point
Yeah,
before
sure.
you go, Matt. You were wandering the Twitter sphere and you saw that some of the guys who were in on some of these meetings that were happening, they were saying that this next purchase that could be coming up from Microsoft would be enough to make some antitrust and monopoly lawyers start to look into what's going on. And so that's another place where I think the concern starts to come in, because now we're hitting a legal point as well. If that's something that someone that was just at a meeting thought, then imagine the moment that some actual lawyers get their hands on it.
Yeah, exactly, right. I don't know how much stock I put in the idea that like antitrust lawyers will be contacted and stuff. I think Xbox, for example, is very far from monopoly. I think it would take like another multi-studio, like a couple dozen. Because you look at something like, people aren't paying attention to stuff like THQ Nordic, who has like 48 games in development. I mean, they're not being called a monopoly, and I get it because Xbox is absorbing full-on publishers, not just developers. But I feel like there are other conglomerates, if you will, with a lot of talent beneath them. As for like losing particular first-party stuff, I sit on the side of the fence of, I think legacy matters. So if something started there, it needs to always be there. That means things like, we talked a lot about KOTOR, right? And how KOTOR Remake is now going to PlayStation. Even if it's timed, I think Xbox needs to say, like, this started here on our platform. It has always been Xbox. And I think generally it's a bad look. But more than anything is, a big talking point of this entire episode has been the nature of exclusives, and I think how necessary they are, but how we're sort of on the slippery slope of like, I saw Jake writing in chat, so I don't want to act like this is my thought, but we talk about how good competition is because we see companies battling for our dollar, and you get some really savvy ideas out of it. You get something like Game Pass. What we're starting to see is, I don't want to say the negative of competition, but we're really starting to see what happens when these companies are trying to eat each other's lunch effectively. And we're seeing them buy people out. We're seeing them buy out IP or licensing deals, extend deadlines for exclusivity in the name of Final Fantasy VII Remake. They are going to continuously be doing that. And so this is sort of like the double-edged sword that's been handed to us. It's like, yes, you've now got two platforms, technically three, that are competing against one another. And that's a good thing because Xbox was not competitive. But now that Xbox is competitive, they're going to start buying people up. So you've seen PlayStation all of a sudden like buy out a lot of studios. And if you really want to get technical with it, this wouldn't be correct. But I just want to make sure it's clear. If we don't count the Bethesda acquisition finalizing in March, it was announced in September, and that's how I count it. But it was finalized, and Bethesda was welcomed into the family with Xbox in March. But technically this year, which I did not expect, PlayStation's bought more companies out than Xbox. And I think that's a sign of where we're going. Like PlayStation, who a lot of people treat PlayStation like they're poor, but doesn't have much money compared to Xbox, has bought like 3 or 4 different studios this year, like Nix's. They bought Housemark. We know they're probably going to nail down Blue Point eventually. And I think they got someone else. And they got Insomniac, I think it was early last year, or it was 2 years ago. I don't remember now. But to my point is they're being aggressive in response to Xbox. So I think legacy matters ultimately, to round up my point, and that we're going to continue to see this, unfortunately. And you're going to see the console wars, I think, just heat up more because more and more properties effectively going to be bought until the games industry is just owned by a handful of companies.
I was gonna add to that. I would love to get like a legal person's thoughts. Like the rumors are like that they're looking into it being a big monopoly, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I mean, look at Disney with all the shit they own, right? Has anyone have they been attacked legally? I feel as if when you're treading into media and media monopolies, I don't think the law has caught up with that. So
that, or they're
I
just
don't
not
know
violating it, honestly. Like,
I don't think they are, because like save a monopoly on like I don't know, like what's something people like gas. I guess that wouldn't really be a monopoly on whatever. Like that's something everybody is affected by, or grocery stores. I don't know. These are just hypotheticals.
Yeah.
But with like video games or media like this, their monopoly isn't stopping from someone like, hey, I want to go make a video game. Well, go make one. Like they can do it, but it is like I don't want to see every single company get bought out by these like in this huge monopoly. But I feel like it is the path we're going on, and I don't know. I feel like it'll either hit like a bottleneck breaking point, or this is just how it's going to be.
Yeah, eventually the land will dry up, if you will.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for that answer, guys. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Of course. Thank you
you.
so much for the interesting question, man.
Yeah.
All right. Take care, man.
See you.
All right. Let's
Do you want to bring in another? Or go into
Yeah,
the
I was
news?
looking at our news list here. And I was looking at our time. We've been live for about 2 hours, and we're getting a feel for the flow of this ultimately. I was thinking what we'll do is we should wrap up with the rest of the call-ins, right? I think we should do that. Because that'll probably bring us to the end of this episode. And what we'll do is next week we'll handle it where we'll do probably a couple write-ins in the beginning, then a tap-in, then some news, and we'll balance it a little bit better. But
Yeah, because we covered pretty much everything.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's just do the rest of the tap-ins.
Let's bring in Forged Horizon because he wanted to come in earlier.
Yep.
What's up, Forged? Welcome.
Hello, hello. Let's see if we got Forged in the house.
Hopefully it's working for him.
I know, right? This may end up being a Forged problem if it persists because, yeah, there we go. He's out. Let's go with, just to make sure we keep
Josh.
things moving along. Yeah, let's get Josh in here.
Okay. What's up, Josh?
Josh.
What's going on? My man, my fellow editor.
Yeah.
Nice to see you.
Hey,
There he
wait, should I
is.
put on my? Wow, fuck! There's so many Kobe's and Matties. Wait, actually, I'll put on my webcam.
Oh,
Hey,
sweet. Let's go.
Let's go.
There we
Hey, oh god, it's
Hey,
so
what's
fucking
up,
bright.
Josh?
go. Oh, I like that. I like the
Hey.
fit. I like the fit.
Dude, yeah.
Oh yeah. Talk about Kasumi. I guess I'm dressed up like Kasumi.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Wait, let me also raise you
I kind
guys.
of see a little bit of
up.
catchy in there.
Oh yeah, it works.
Yeah, dude.
I literally just woke up, so
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Please
it's
collect
probably
yourself.
pretty-
Did you sleep
pretty
in that?
early there, right?
Did you sleep in that?
no, I didn't. I just put this on because I wore it yesterday. So hey.
Fuck it.
I literally just wrote down a shit ton of questions. So,
Let's go.
we could do like either like a serious one or we can do a dumb one.
Dude, I'm good for whatever.
Whatever you want.
Yeah,
whatever
you've
you
just
guys
woken
are
up, so I'm gonna
more.
let you fight through your crusty eyes
morning
here and make a
slog.
decision.
I'm gonna do the dumb one because I
Okay,
don't have to
perfect.
think much.
That's where,
Okay,
that's
with-
where I was leaning.
Good. Well, with the celebration of the Mario movie casting, should we do a casting of our own video game adaptation?
Oh, I'm awful with actors and actresses, but I'm totally game for this. I'm totally game for it. All right.
Just be dumb as fuck with it.
Okay.
Like, don't be serious about it
I
whatsoever.
love this question.
Yeah. No. All right. So, all right. We got.
We also have to think of a game.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, we have to think of.
Do you have any
Okay.
ideas? Did you like? I know you're a big Metal Gear fan.
I was thinking maybe Persona 5, just because we all
Dude,
played it.
I think that'd be good because I don't know Metal Gear, and Persona 5 is
Yeah.
like something that's come up a lot in this show.
Okay.
So
all right.
let's do Persona 5.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is gonna be fun.
I'm guess we should stick to like the base version. I haven't played Royal,
Okay.
Okay.
or I haven't
we'll
finished
do-
Royal yet.
Okay. Cool.
All right, we'll do original Persona
Yeah.
5.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
I write all the characters down here.
Perfect.
Okay.
So
All right.
we'll just do like the main cast because otherwise it'll just take way too long.
Yeah.
Not all
Yeah,
the
yeah.
confidants. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll do the main party, right? And so
Yeah.
Hero probably. Okay. So Joker. Who's got to be Joker? I'm trying to think of like an actor.
Chris Pratt. No.
I was actually thinking that for a sec. What I'm gonna do actually, because I know my
Young-
memory is awful, I'm gonna bring up just a list of actors.
I'm gonna do the same because I can't.
Yeah, I'm
there's no way.
probably
I'd be
gonna
able to-
do the same as well.
Perfect.
I have a really dumb idea for a catchy.
Let's start off with that, all right? Let's start off with the ideas that we can do. Who you got for a catchy?
Okay.
Wait,
Michael Cera.
Wait,
Oh my god. No, Matt hates Michael Cera.
I do. I can't fucking stand him, bro. He's so weird. Hold on.
Even perfect.
Yeah. Hold on. I got Ryuji's actor.
Who you got?
Adam Sandler.
And he has like a blonde wig as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got Joker.
Okay.
Keanu Reeves. I think
Okay.
it's kind of
that's
fitting.
Not bad. That's not
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, it was fitting.
That's not bad. All right. I'm trying to think of who do we got here? We got Yusuke. Who would do
This
it?
should be easy.
Yeah, Yusuke is like an
Everyone's
artsy
like a
looking
feminine kind of guy.
Yeah.
Wait,
Hmm.
I have one idea. Like each of you can think of an idea. I have one so far.
Well, let's hear it.
I can't remember the actor's name, but it's like
Who does he
the guy
play?
that plays Flash in like the
Uh,
DCEU movies, the
Flash.
Injustice, not Injustice.
Don't say anything
Justice
who it
League.
is yet because I want to see what he looks like. Is it Grant Gustin?
No, not Grant Gustin.
Oh,
wait,
Logan Williams?
let me see. Flash.
Lo-
Justice League.
That's Justice League.
The actual Snyder cut.
Oh, I haven't
Wait,
seen
not
that.
Wait, Snyder.
I see Logan Williams, and if it is Logan Williams, I'm gonna guess.
Ezra Miller.
Hold on.
Yes,
Ez-
Ezra Miller.
Hold on, I gotta. Okay, I gotta get a look at him. This has gotta be. I'm trying to decide who this would be. Why do I feel like this is Sojiro? Am I?
Wait, which one's Sochio again?
The,
Who was
the-
like,
He's the guy who owns the coffee shop.
Yeah.
He's like kind of mean. at
oh
the
yeah.
end.
At least the picture I'm looking at here, where he's got like this long hair and stuff.
Yeah.
If he slicks it back a little bit, I'm just like, that's a little Sojiro energy there.
I'm looking at female
Hey.
actresses to see who could be like a our Makoto. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I got our Makoto.
Okay.
Anne Hathaway.
Oh
I
yeah.
feel like Anne Hathaway is super
Yeah.
fitting.
That's actually
Like,
a pretty good pick.
super fitting.
That's a pretty good pick. I got on.
Okay.
Mila
I
Kunis.
just see-
Mila Kunis.
Okay. Yeah, that's
I don't know how to spell these names, by the way.
that's. Who else we got? We got. You
Haru.
picked the catchy already. Haru. Haru's a hard one. Wait, I got the perfect. Who? Okay, the girl who plays Mabel from Gravity Falls. What's her name? Hold on, I'll find her.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Not looks wise, but her voice. I don't know why. I just like that's the first person that come to mind. I don't think she's like,
Kamoshiro is
super
Ben
long.
Affleck.
Oh my god. I want to get like a really
Jack
weird pick.
Yeah, someone run Jack
Jack
Black.
Black.
Some Morgana. That's Seth Rogen's job.
That would be more.
I can't do
character.
Seth Rogen's voice, but like his voice telling Joker to go to sleep would be amazing.
Oh my god.
We got
I have one for
knows.
Igor.
I was
I'll
gonna
give
say
that-
Igor.
Oh, you go.
No, I don't have one. I was gonna say I want to hear one for him.
Oh, okay. Oh, fuck. Oh, wait. Danny DeVito.
I love that.
All right, Shido is Dwayne the Rock Johnson. Like
Yes.
100%.
No, all right. We need to have our like really bad off-brand pick, and I'm gonna say that Haru's Jennifer Aniston. Like just a
Just
really
throw it in there.
yeah, just like a really fucking out of character Mario Chris Pratt pick here. Like we need something like that. Actually, you know, I could reverse my on pick from Mila Kunis to Margot Robbie. I'm seeing her now, and I'm like, that's actually not
Oh, that's not a bad
that's
pick at
actually
all.
not a bad pick. I don't feel like that'd be horrible.
Who else? I think that's everybody, right?
Uh,
on.
Joker.
Who's good?
Fuji.
yeah, I think we got it.
Yeah, we
We didn't get
we
Psy.
didn't do
We didn't do Psy.
yeah, we didn't do Psy, and also we didn't do Morgana. Info is someone in the chat always.
Yeah,
Morgana
Morgana
has
would
to
have
be
to be
some-
voiced, right? Like that would have to be a voice
Yeah.
actor pick.
Morgana has to be like a really like
Dumb.
yeah, I
Yeah.
just want to pick. Like Samuel Jackson or something.
No. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually amazing. It's like a Quentin Tarantino Morgana.
Like he won't put on any voice whatsoever. It's just
Yeah,
literally Samuel Jackson.
Yeah, they just start doing like what Star Wars is doing now with all their different shows. They just like make a show Morgana.
And then Psy. Wow.
Psy Nijima is a tough pick because who has
I
silver
love
hair?
Psy Nijima. Well, they can just. I think it's more so personality or like. Let's see. Psy Nijima. Someone very stern. Right?
Yeah, stern, upfront.
Yeah, they're like a little. I see a little like Jennifer Lawrence, maybe. I don't know. Psy Nijima, that's hard. Well, who'd we pick for Makoto? We picked Anne Hathaway, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we picked Anne Hathaway.
So
who would? I like how all these characters are like what 16.
Yeah.
And we're picking actors that are like in their 40s and 50s.
Oh, I'm gonna type in stern actress.
I don't know.
You know, hold on. This wouldn't be a Stern pick, but who the fuck is Jenna Stern? That's who came up. She's in 16 blocks.
What if we did Winona Ryder?
I gotta
You
see.
know who Winona Ryder is?
I gotta look.
She's
her up.
she's like in Beetlejuice. She's the mom in Stranger Things.
Psy, I'm looking at her now. Actually, this isn't a bad pick. Yeah. Yeah, especially with I can see this. Yeah.
We could go through a list of women.
No, I think it's a pretty good pick.
Oh, or Sandra Bullock.
Yeah, that could work too.
I don't know. There's a lot of people out there. I don't know. When Persona 5 Royal comes around, they better come knocking on our door.
Right? We got the cast laid out for them.
Yeah.
Oh, someone said Emma Stone, just somewhere in Phil. Oh, as what's the Kawakami?
Not bad.
Oh,
I'd be for that.
Matt would like that.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I mean, we can make this movie though. I think this passes. What was your other question, Josh?
Yeah.
Oh, it was literally just an Xbox question.
Sure.
Let's ask you.
It's just like, what's your thoughts on what you guys pretty much like talked about before, like thoughts on like Xbox acquiring like another studio. So my cat's like scratching at the door.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, and like, is it like good for the industry? And who do you think could get? Because people are like already theorizing like Sega or Warner Brothers. So
yeah. I mean, Paul, where are you at on it? Because I know I talk about it pretty frequently, so I'm sure your thoughts will be a little more refreshing than my own.
I hope they don't go after anybody, but I know they're going to. I don't want to see them go after Sega. It'd be scary. A little Persona.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, that movie would certainly be put into being if they acquired Sega. Like, we need to make this money back. Make the movie.
No, I don't think it's good if they keep going after these companies, but I think it's an inevitability. So I don't know.
Yeah. Also, like, I feel like it doesn't make sense for Sega to be acquired by an Xbox because, like, it makes sense with like Bethesda because there's always history, Phil. That makes more sense. While with something like Sega, it's like they haven't really done much with Xbox apart from maybe like a few games having like early releases. Like I think it was like Yakuza 7 or Like a Dragon having like the Xbox and next gen release.
Phil Spencer would be my best friend if he could rip Rockstar out of 2K's grubby fucking hands. I would love Rockstar to just be under a company that lets them create and doesn't hold them on Grand Theft Auto 5 for what, 8 years now? Actually, how is it longer?
Yeah, 8 years.
Yeah, it's been 8 years.
It was 2013. Yeah, I agree. That'd be really nice to see. But I think the industry would flip a shit if Rockstar became an exclusive company.
Yeah,
to anyone.
Please. I don't care if it's an exclusive. We need more Rockstar games, and they're methodical. But God, they stick to one thing forever.
Yeah, they do an excellent job, and I'd love to see more.
They do. I love their games. I don't know. Maybe it's not viable. Maybe they have to release this.
I think when it comes to acquisitions, a lot of people expect something more response worthy from Xbox. Like we've seen a lot of Marvel games, so that means they've got to go get Warner Bros. To do DC. And I think that based off how long the deals have to be in the making, you look at Bethesda, that was confirmed that it started in October of 2018. So there's a couple of years in that gap. And unless they've been having extensive talks with someone like, say, Warner Bros. For some time, I think it would just be in their favor with the timing if they were to have announced a acquisition of them now. But it wouldn't have been response-based. So I almost take Warner Bros. Off the playing field for some time. Not that it's impossible, but I sort of am into the idea of them getting Sega, unlike Kopi is. And the reason I say that is I do think there is some history there when you go back to like Jet Set Radio Future launching on the original Xbox, and I look at stuff like Virtua Fighter. There are little things where, kind of like with Bethesda, I didn't put 2 and 2 together until they got brought under the umbrella. And then I thought to myself, like, okay, Xbox has always had a really great working relationship with Bethesda, and their games have always been better on Xbox. And not that this is the case with Sega, but now we're seeing that sort of modern renaissance of what they once had, where Sega's realizing how helpful Xbox has been to them, because now it's with Game Pass. Like Yakuza and Judgment are more popular than ever, and I think it's their Game Pass that's the reason they are. And Sega's seen other games like 2 Point Hospital do way better than they typically do, because now they've actually got a platform to expose these games on. And so they're looking at Xbox like, what else can we put there? I imagine what'll probably happen with them is not an acquisition. I think everyone's kind of getting it twisted where it's like they're friends, so Xbox is going to eat their lunch and them. I think what's going to end up happening is you're just going to see them start working on exclusive capacity, like making games together, that type of thing. And maybe Xbox works them like Insomniac and PlayStation, where you just whittle them down like year over year with the value you provide them. But I feel like if there was anyone I could pick, it would be Sega, because I think it's something that's has history. They've worked together a lot. It addresses a big need for Xbox that has gone unanswered beyond superhero games, which is JRPGs and a Japanese presence. The reason that they're going for these publishers is because they're self-operated, and you need someone who's already well-known and can self-operate in Japan. And yeah, there's fun choices. We talk about Trails of a ton of times in our own personal calls and in passing videos. And like Trails of Cold Steel comes from Neo and Falcon, and like that's an indie studio. And it's like that'd be a cool acquisition, but that's not going to be like the statement that I think the industry needs to see from Xbox in their efforts. So for me, when it comes to their acquisitions, that's where I would sit is go big for Sega. And then maybe those talks of like Monopoly are semi-warranted, but even then I don't think they're close to Monopoly. They just have a lot of studios underneath their umbrella, but not like 80% of the industry is owned by them at that point in time.
Yeah, like I agree. Like with like this exclusive deal, that would make more sense than like just buying Sega as a whole, because like they have like pretty much very little and footing in Japan Xbox, so it's like why buy out like Sega's still very big in Japan. Like it would be very odd for them to just not sell out, but like pretty much sell out to
they
Xbox.
don't need to,
like,
right? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they don't need to, and it would very much like be very weird for like the Japanese audience. Just be like, because not a lot of them have Xboxes. Like they're primarily PlayStation and Nintendo, or
for sure
mobile.
For sure.
So just like slowly bringing like the Japanese audience to Xbox through like just exclusive deals like the Yakuza games, or I say Persona, I don't know if like that seems weird to me.
I know, right?
So yeah. Dude, so it's like that makes more sense of an approach.
I agree. Yeah, and that's the thing is a lot of people get lost in the idea that what works for Xbox doesn't mean it works for Sega. So you brought it up perfectly. It's like, yes, as I was saying, this makes sense for Xbox to go get Sega, and maybe if you provide them like a really good chunk of change, then they'll do it. But otherwise, Sega has no need to. They're doing really well, as you just said. Their games are more popular than really ever in a lot of ways. They're tied to say something like the Sonic movie, where when that does well, Sega earns money from that. So there's a lot of ways that they are earning revenue where they don't need to sell off. They could if it benefits them in a lot of ways and the exposure is paying dividends, but I doubt so much so that they need to sell off, which is why I think they're just going to get buddy, but I don't think they're going to sell to him. So I think it's a fantastic point you brought up.
Okay, that's good. That's pretty much it. Do you have anything else, Kobe? Also, I'd like to point out the webcams on the streams like all messed up.
I know. I
Yeah.
love
Yeah, I'm liking Kobe's.
I saw.
Oh wait, I'm Matt.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I was going to say, yeah, I looked when I flipped it over and I was like, I can't do anything about this right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know how it
How'd that
happened, but I think it's because when the webcam, I think when we tested this with Never, who's going to be one of our call-ins soon. And when we did so, we had no webcam on for him. So I should have probably had a viewer turns. We'll do that for next week. We'll have a viewer turns.
though, and it didn't change, right?
I don't think it did, but I didn't check. But we'll double check that for next week and make sure we have someone who can flip on their webcam and like see like what happens with the overlay, and we'll have that organized for next week's show. But otherwise, it's the nice little growing pains of a brand new show. We love to see it.
Yeah, at least it's like happens with me.
Yeah,
Because
right.
I'm part of the family anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So no concerns here.
Dude, you're the other editor, so you fit perfectly.
Yeah, it makes sense.
in my
Yeah, it
role.
makes sense. Yeah, it literally makes sense. Kobe.
But wait,
And
Josh is the
Matt's a
favorite
caller.
son, so that doesn't make any sense to me.
Oh
This is
fuck.
true.
Yeah, Kobe play, and also I have to play Genshin Impact now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and you have to be really weird about anime girls.
Yeah, I'm already wearing like fucking Kasumi outfits, so
Yeah.
why not?
No, I was about to say, I love the outfit. I gotta like pick up some of that.
Yeah,
Like,
it's-
are you wearing dress
it's
pants with this,
perfect.
or is this like shorts?
No, it's literally just like
Oh yeah,
like literally just not cargo pants.
slacks.
It's so funny
Yeah,
because
just
like
lies.
I like the vest over the collared shirt thing is something I thought about, but I didn't like have confidence. Like I feel like I look like an idiot, but it looks so good on you, Josh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm happy that everyone thinks so.
Yeah. I'm gonna copy you. You're gonna catch me in it. You're gonna like
You're
open up a
tripping.
file for an edit, and you're just gonna see me sitting there in the button up and be like, "This son of a bitch." This is where it starts.
Yeah, everyone just copies me now.
Yeah, pretty much. Anyway, Josh, not to usher you along, just we're gonna get the last two call-ins though, because we're pushing
that's
a
fine.
couple hours here. So we appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for
Yeah,
all you
it
do
was
for
fun.
me, of course, and thank you for calling in. It's great having you
Yeah,
here.
you're welcome.
Good
It was
seeing you,
fun
John.
being. Congratulations, Kobe, again.
All right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
See you guys.
Take it easy,
See you,
man.
Josh.
All right. Love
right.
little Josh. Let's get
Yeah,
Forged in
that's
here.
great.
See if we can
Alright,
get Forged working.
Horizons.
Yeah. Hello, Forged.
Forged Horizons.
We're
Hello.
gonna try
Let me
again. There we
pause the.
go. There we go. We got him.
Wow, your GIF
Here we
is,
go.
your profile picture is animated. Wow.
That's
Yeah,
great.
it really
Yeah.
is. I don't like the GIF either. So
Forged, I just want to really quickly thank you for your patience. I'm sorry that was really hard getting you in the call and whatever was happening there. So just thank you for holding in there.
that was 100% on me.
Oh, okay.
I was on a run, and then it started raining. So
Oh boy.
I ducked in somewhere and called an Uber back, and now I'm on my computer. So
The dedication to be on Ham Live. I love it.
you gotta the gains.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, what's
All
on your
right.
mind?
The only thing I ever have on my mind is a little game called Star Citizen.
Oh, okay.
You know how you know how sometimes when you were playing like Red Dead Redemption 2 or something, you ran into those moments where you just sat still and you just looked at everything around you?
Yeah, of course.
That's like almost every moment I have in Star Citizen.
Mm.
Like borrowing from our Lord of Bethesda, if you see anything, you can literally go there. Like you could be hovering above a planet, you could see an ocean down below, you could go there, it's like No Man's Sky, but if No Man's Sky actually had like handcrafted stuff, interiors of ships,
Mm.
it's amazing. So, my question, well, one of two,
Okay.
is would you ever consider playing Star Citizen? It is a PC killer, mind you. That is the first one. Currently, it is in a free-to-play week from now through the 27th.
Okay.
So you get 4 ships that you can do whatever you want in. They aren't good ships for new players, and I'm not fond of them myself. So if you do want to play, I'd suggest getting somebody to like walk you through it, because there's a lot to learn and no tutorial.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Brutal.
That's already a -1 for me. Not that I need a tutorial for everything, but just the necessary walkthroughs from a buddy, right? That's the thing that always gets me. With Star Citizen, it's interesting the way you word it. Like, you get 4 free ships. Like, is this? I gotta ask just to make sure I'm fully educated on this. Is there like any type of pay model in this game, or is it just a like?
Okay.
How does it work? Is it like a pay $60? This is my game, or is there like a fee monthly?
Currently, keep in mind that this game is still multiple years out. Like, we only have one star system of like 88 that they're planning to add. All of the tech that they have there is already implemented in the game. So going forward, it should be a lot faster. They already have like 4 or 5 that are almost done, but they're waiting to push them forward. But currently, the game is you buy a pledge, which the cheapest one is $45. Actually, I think it's $40. It's on sale right now. But aside from that, it is. I'm not going to say that it's pay to win, because it's really not. Because you can buy all of the ships in game, but they do have certain ships up on the store page that you can buy with real money, and some of those are absurdly expensive. Like, you got some going for like, the most expensive one I think was $2,500, and that is specifically for a ship that can the like maximum crew that is like actual positions like turrets, people who actually have a role of 80 people, which is currently higher than the server capacity in the game.
Okay.
So
this is kind of like James Cameron's Avatar, the video game. Is that kind of like the vibe I'm getting from this? Like, remember how Avatar, like, it was this big thing because it was in development for like, I want to say 12 years or something like that. Like, when it came out, it was already in works in the, I want to say the late 90s. And is this kind of like the video game version of that, effectively on a systems level? Because some of the things you're talking about are kind of unheard of. And is that what's kind of drawing you to this game? Because you're talking about, I got my ship and I was doing all these things and like I just stopped and stared and I went everywhere. Like, when you go there, what is on these places? Because you talk about handcrafted content and these ships and what have you. Like, is it a RPG? I'm relatively unfamiliar with Star Citizen, so I'm just getting my feet wet on this.
it's not an RPG. It is an MMO.
Okay.
Currently, in terms of story content, there's not much because they're saving that for like the full release. There are missions and stuff that you can pick up, but by far the most fun I've had, like, this is probably in any game period, has been doing stuff with like groups of 10 to 15 people, just picking up quests. Players can ask to do things in game. You can set stuff up, do that. Just the entire scale of the thing is completely unheard of. Like, in August, they added what is the first fully volumetric gas giant into a video game. So
this shit sounds ridiculous.
That's what draws me into it. It's the scale of everything, and like, it's at 80 people. It's like, it sounds like Sea of Thieves in space on crack. Like 80 people ships. 80 people.
Oh,
ships,
yeah.
Everybody's like working on a different thing in that ship. It's not just like they're sitting there, right?
Sea of Thieves is actually an extremely good comparison that I hadn't thought of. Imagine like Sea of Thieves in space, but with, I'm not going to say a focus on PvP here. I'm in game right now. So there is just so many things. Like, there's
Were you the not to interrupt you, were you the person who wrote in yesterday during my stream saying you pulled yourself away from Star Citizen to watch like a pre-show?
Yeah, it's an addiction.
It was you. Okay, I was gonna say I remember reading that during our Nintendo Direct stream. I thought that was funny.
Yeah. So something I am going to ask is, Do you have it set up where you can see my screen recording?
Yeah, provided it streams right here to the call. Yeah, you should be good.
Okay. Let's see if this works.
Go for it.
Let's
It's a separate stream, so just so you know, yeah, that won't work. You'd have to cut that because that sets it up where it's smart block, so it won't go through for the audience. Sorry about that. I thought it was going to replace your own personal picture, but it just adds one.
No, I'm not sure if there's a way to do that. Then let me stop streaming.
Yeah, sorry about that, but I appreciate you trying.
No, you're good. It's just it's hard to. Yeah, it's hard to like describe things. You really need to be there to see it. Like currently I'm looking from a space station down onto a planet where you can see the sun setting over it, so you can see the horizon line. And it is gorgeous.
And you can just go there.
And you can literally fly to that horizon in whatever ship you want and go to the bright side of the planet. You can fly towards the sun. You can go from planet to planet. There's just so much. Each planet has its own missions to do.
It sounds really, really cool, and I love the scale of it and what they're trying to accomplish. But to answer your question about whether or not I'd play it, I'd give it a shot. I never say no.
Yeah.
But I'm not an MMO guy. I hate the time sink, unless it's really, really, really good.
I am the exact same way.
Yeah, so that even makes me want to play it more, right? A shot more. If you're the same.
I cannot stand like MMOs that force you to grind for levels or anything like that.
Exactly. Like Final Fantasy 14 was fun, but MMOs, man, they don't grab me.
Yeah, and it plays like a first-person shooter. Like it has on-the-ground elements, like invading enemy strongholds on foot with Call of Duty-like FPS. Or I guess it's more like Battlefield.
That sounds really interesting.
Yeah, I'll definitely look into it. Like I'm with Paul on the idea. Like I will look into anything really. There's very few things I'll just shut the door on outright. But yeah, that's definitely something I'll check out. So thank you for putting it on our radar.
Yep. Yeah, and then I have one more quick thing.
Sure.
So I stopped playing God of War probably about halfway through it.
Oh.
And the story I loved. But what really irked me was the leveling system. It felt so forced in there. Like it really, if you ask me, had no reason to be there for like the loot grind or anything like that. It just felt like it was pulled from a different game and kind of slapped on last second. Same thing applies for the way difficulty scales. Like I started the game playing on the hardest difficulty because that's how I like to do it.
Sure.
But the only thing that the difficulty changes in God of War is the enemy health and damage. So basically just made them super tanky and didn't give you anything to go off of. So
gotcha.
It never connected for me on a gameplay front. So I just want to know y'all's thoughts on if you thought that was a good system or not.
The leveling up is... Sorry, Paul, are you going to go?
I was just going to say that, like, for me, it worked, but only because I enjoyed exploring those environments, and I thought the puzzling that you had to... Like, I remember each, like, there were, like, quadrants. Like, you had an area, and then there was a bunch of areas around it you could explore. You can get in the boat and go with Atreus and go and explore and find and collect gear and stuff. So and fight enemies, get XP, whatever. So for me, it worked. But if you're someone who just wants to go through the story, I can totally understand how that works for you. Like 100%.
Yeah. With God of War, I mean, I find myself being in the camp of people who say it's a great game, but like I don't love it, adore it, call it a generation-defining title. I think that's just a taste thing at the end of the day. But to the leveling system, I kind of get tired of that being put into every game, and it really started with Ubisoft because I remember they started calling some of their games that, like Assassin's Creed games, before they tried to do dialogue and choices and all that stuff, they called their games role-playing games. Like Far Cry was a role-playing game because it had a skill system. And like the press would call them RPGs or light RPGs. And I think it just watered down what a role-playing game is. And it hurt the genre for a long while until you started to get games like Divinity, Wasteland, Pathfinder to remind people like this is an RPG, or at least one kind you can get. And so ultimately, yeah, like leveling systems now kind of glance off me because very few understand the true depth of like player customization. So I'm with you. Like, yeah, there are elements in there that I felt were yanked out of other games. Like I thought the Valkyrie stuff was stupid. I thought if anything, I don't want to slight other reviewers. I feel like most reviewers didn't get to that part because if you do get to that part, it showcased that the combat was not fully tuned.
No, it wasn't.
And it just wasn't that great when you started to get challenged by like very particular enemies doing particular patterns. It didn't telegraph to the player the right information to get them to respond. And so it's not a bad game. Like I said, it's a great game, but there were clear flaws that I'm sure they'll work out with the sequel, but that no one talks about now. And so I'm with you. Yeah, there were some issues I had with the game, and that would be one of them.
No Dark Souls combat.
Yeah, right. Not that bad, but
none of my deaths felt particularly earned or
exactly
that I messed up.
Exactly. And that's what happens when a game tries to be too many different types of games and they don't just have like a focus. Like you get something like that where you could tell with the Valkyrie fights, they were trying to be Souls-like, master the pattern, know when they're going to strike. And even with you did, there were things like, I remember one of the Valkyries was doing a sweeping attack. And I think instead of dodging left or right to get out of the way, you could literally only dodge backwards like that. And it felt like there was no dynamic elements to combat. It was like you were doing almost a plug and play approach. So yeah, 100% in agreement with you on that.
And pretty much always one-shot kills on you too.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, absolutely. All right, Forge. Well, it's been great chatting with you. We got one last call on before we wrap up the show. It was good to get you in here, though, finally, and hear some of your thoughts. So thank you so much, and we hope to hear from you maybe next week.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Our pleasure.
Thanks for coming on, Forged.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's get our last call in with
finally. Never. This should be really interesting.
Yeah, I know, right?
What's up, Never?
Here we go. The man who slandered.
Yeah.
Listen, man.
All right. For your throat.
So, I'm chilling here, right? I'm writing for our game, and I'm waiting for this shit to start, and it's like 10 minutes have passed. I'm like, yo, they haven't started. What the fuck's going on?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I was on the wrong link because YouTube.
Yeah.
And then
that's my fault, probably.
and I go on stream. And then this guy Paul just starts slandering me, and you were saying I love Dark Souls too. I'm like, what the fuck, Nani? Like, dude,
wait,
listen, guys.
I didn't. What did I say about Never? I don't even remember.
Actually, maybe you didn't slander me,
It's
but you
been
agreed
like
with Matt slander.
show, so
you agreed with Matt slander. That's what it was. And I'm like, I wasn't even planning to do a call in, and then now I'm like, no, I gotta do a call in now.
You gotta defend yourself.
Dark Souls 2. Yeah, Dark Souls 2 is fucking awful. It's not a good Souls game.
Oh, okay. See, I was under the impression that you liked Souls 2.
Well, I'll say this: it's not like the worst game I've ever played, but it's a pretty bad game. It's like a 6 out of 10.
A 6 out of 10. Okay.
Yeah.
I stand corrected.
I got a
then.
question for you guys.
6 out of 10 still seems like something I'd play if it's like by the studio.
Anything under a 7, I don't play. I'm just like, waste of time. I don't know why. I only played that just to complete my my veteran experience with From Software games, and then that was it.
Right. I feel like playing a bad game every once in a while really makes you appreciate the good ones.
That is true. Everything when I played that game, everything I played definitely highlighted that. Yeah, all these were like the bad ideas, and I noticed a lot of the things in here never came forward, which is good.
That's why my plan is foolproof.
Dude, good luck.
Play
You're gonna fucking hate it.
Right before Elden Ring. And Elden Ring is gonna
no,
be
don't do that.
It's such a mistake,
man.
Play it after.
God's grace.
Play it after.
It's such a mistake.
No, play it before.
Imagine Elden Ring just
the
sucks.
DLCs. Oh my god, that would break my heart.
Yeah, me too. That'd be horrible.
Okay. I got a question.
Oh.
I came up with this.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was hoping you did.
All right. Grim and Felix are gonna like this if Felix is even in chat. My question is.
It's a waifu question.
What is a game you would play fan translation for if you found out it never got localized in English?
Ah.
Wait. So
it's Trails off the list.
I mean, you can pick Trails if you want. I don't know. Well, like, and it can be any game. Like, imagine like Bethesda is like Fallout 5, but they're like, yeah, it's gonna be only in German and nothing else.
I would hate Bethesda for that. I would hope they wouldn't do
that.
So if there's a fan translation of it, that's what's pushing me to play it.
No, more
Yes.
so.
Like it's never coming in English.
Yeah, like they're not.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like the main company's not going to localize it.
Yeah.
I feel like Bethesda sort of falls into that category because there are so many great fan-made mods, like of remakes of Fallout 3, that like I'll play Fallout 3 or Fallout 4 Capital Wasteland because Bethesda will probably never remake Fallout 3. They might remaster it one day and like re-release it, but I don't think they'll ever remake it with Fallout 4's mechanics. So it's like, actually would probably be my pick because while it's not fan translation, that's a fan project that Bethesda will never do. So that's gonna be my pick.
I'm gonna be boring and go with Persona because like
Aw.
it's so
Are
fun.
you a Persona fan by chance?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what else. I could name like a bunch of games that I would play if there was a fan translation of it, but I think it'd have to be a game where you do more reading. Like Danganronpa would be another one.
Danganronpa,
like-
I would go to the ends of the earth for. Yeah,
Yeah, if there's a game where you do
I'd
more
probably
reading
play that
than
fan
listening,
translated too.
yeah.
then that's the one I'd go to. So Danganronpa. Oh, here's one. Doki Doki Literature Club.
Oh no,
No, there's no voices in Doki Doki Literature Club.
that surprised me with the plus version that I started the other day. I was surprised there were 0 voices. Is that like a design? Like, is that a choice for design, or is that? Am I getting into spoiler territory?
Just play the game, man. Just play the game.
So annoying. All right, fine.
Play the fucking game.
I'll fucking finish it.
Dead
All right. Well,
All right.
whew, long show.
Space.
Very long.
I got one statement to make. Grim, fan translations are mods. Thank you very much.
All right. Never. Thank you
Okay,
for
there you
your
go.
concluding statement. We appreciate you, and I'll talk to you in
No
probably like
problem.
an hour.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
All right, go. Take it easy, boys.
All right. Peace out, man.
See you never.
All right, Paul. We've done it.
I'm live.
Ham live. Yeah, so we've gone way longer than I think we expected. So that's some of the teething issues. I won't say to the audience, don't expect this ever, but we're still figuring out the pacing for the show for sure. And this definitely went on way longer than we thought it would, plus the tech issues. But I think this was a good like jump into the deep end to really know what this is all going to be like. And we'll have to balance out, I think, how many tap-ins we do with the news. Because there were some items that we didn't get a chance to get to, but we want to make sure it's about everyone else. So I feel like we did our job well. How are you feeling after the first episode?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was very long, which I wasn't expecting, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Every tap in I loved. Like there wasn't
It was
a
a
person
really
who
good
came
time.
in whose question like I loved all the questions. I liked when people turn their cameras on. even
Yeah,
if
that
it
was
messed
really
up
cool.
the thing a little bit. I didn't care. I don't know. I think that's like the nicest part of Ham Live. Like news is news. We could talk about news forever.
That's true.
Just keep going and going. But these random one-off questions, or like Josh came in and he had us do like a
Yeah.
casting. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just fun. I love
It
stuff like
challenges
that.
us in the right ways, I think, and that was
Yeah.
a really good time. So to everyone who tuned in, thank you so much. We had at 1.400 plus. It's getting late, so that number has dropped off. But we were having a pretty strong audience here, and to those listening after the fact, we hope you did enjoy. And thank you so much for your strong support on our first episode. A lot of call-ins, write-ins, all that stuff. So we appreciate you dearly. And, of course, we'll be back next Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, to stream yet another episode, take your call-ins, take your questions, all that stuff, and discuss some more. So with that, please leave your feedback down below if there's any ways that we could make this show better. It's our first episode, so I don't know if we're going to hit a home run right out of the gate. But beyond that, thank you all so much. And Paul, any closing thoughts, or shall we just say goodbye now?
No, thanks. I was so surprised seeing like almost over 400 people come in.
Mm-hmm. And that was with a
so
late
thank-
schedule. I think if we do it a little bit earlier and with a hotter topic, we'll see more than that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's gonna
I
be
mean,
good.
I think people were weary seeing my mug up there on the.
I don't know if
thumbnail,
they
so-
even saw it because the thumbnail got fucked up. So that pissed me off.
Well,
That bothers me.
yeah. Yeah. No, thanks everyone for coming in. Thanks Matt for giving me a chance
Of course.
to sit on the show and talk. I feel like it went a lot better. I was kind of anxious,
Yeah,
So
it's understood.
it went a lot better than I thought.
Yeah,
it would.
dude. I mean,
and
I talk about throwing in the deep end. I threw you in the deep end. Hey, Paul, first podcast. Let's do 3 hours.
yeah,
We were talking
it,
2.
it was good. Yeah, no, it was a ton of fun. I'm super excited for next week.
Yeah, you did great, and we hope you all enjoyed. Again, sound off with any feedback you've got. We're more than willing to listen. And with that, we look forward to speaking with you next week. Peace out.